Welcome, slopestyle fans of the world, to beautiful Cairns, Australia. The sun is popping, and we're here for stop number 2 of the Crankworks Slopestyle World Championship Series for 2025. And we get to see Tim Bringer on course against the top dogs. If you think back to stop number 1, he took the win. He got the monkey off of his back after 5 second places. But you know, in the back of his mind, he knows there's a little asterisk. The top riders weren't here. But they're back now in Australia, and he's gonna face up against them for the first time since he's taken that big win. Talk to me about Erik Fedko back from injury.
Yeah, Fedko back from injury. Awesome to see him back. Not only Fedko back, but we've got Godziek and Emil Johansson, riders we haven't seen on the course since last year. Today is gonna be exciting.
Let's talk about Emil for a little bit. If you think about how dominant he has been, 13 wins, there hasn't been a season since 2018 where he didn't take at least 1 win. He's been battling a lot of injuries. What do you think we're gonna see out of him today?
I mean, I think, you know, he's not here ever at any of these World Tour events unless he's capable to win. He's not just riding it out, he's here to win. He's gonna throw down. Seeing him early in the runs is gonna be exciting. He's gonna set the tone. It's gonna be an insane day.
The story with Emil is always about dominance. He is the winningest rider in slopestyle history. But if you think about last season, the most dominant rider was the guy who took the Triple Crown, David Godziek. He was out from New Zealand with an injury, but with his perfect season last year, who's the guy to beat? Is it Bringer? Is it Emil? Is it Godziek?
I think the guy to beat is going to be the person that's on the course in that moment today, because everybody has an opportunity. We don't know what we're going to see. It's going to be huge.
Well, you can't forget about the women's category. Bree, who are you most excited to see for the women today?
Hey guys, yeah, one rider I think we're all excited to watch is Patricia Druen. Patty made her Crankworks debut this year in Rotorua. There was so much hype, so much pressure. She lived up to the hype with a gold medal. She hasn't been on her bike since Rotorua. She had surgery to get her tonsils out, but she is loving this course, says it's fun and playful. And today she is the only woman to go for that Triple Crown. She's gonna be fun to watch, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Bree. That was a huge moment for Patricia Druen in New Zealand to start this season. But think about this, Alan. The last 2 times we saw Alma Wiggberg compete on the Crankworx World Tour in slopestyle, she took the win, but we have not seen Patricia and Alma go against each other at a World Tour stop. We're gonna see that today.
Yeah, so many competitors coming together here in Cairns. So stoked to see Alma back. She's finally on top of about a 4-year battle on her shoulder. She's had some operations, a lot of rehab. The last 2 times we saw her, as you said, she won. So seeing a healthy Alma against a Patricia, it's gonna be amazing.
I can't wait to see what all the off-season training has done for these riders who we haven't seen in a while. It's going to be great. Thanks to our friends at Maxxis. They've been following the riders all week and checking out those preparations leading into the big moment today. Take a look.
It's all good to be back. Look at this course, it's like a game.
I think it's 6 so far. I'm obviously feeling a bit rusty, to be honest. 90% of the riding I've done since my injury has been indoors, so it's gonna be a bit of a process to get back to full speed of things, but I look forward to it.
Great.
I have some goals. I've been training hard the last couple of months to get back to 100%, so I definitely have some goals here and some stuff I need to get off the list, but for today, first day of practice, it's just about feeling out the jumps, and honestly this course, just enjoy it. It's so beautiful. It's like a little work of art. And then slowly throughout the week, get some stuff off the list and work myself towards the weekend where the big shows happen.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. This is exciting stuff right here. Stop number 2 of the 2025 Crankworx Slopestyle World Championship Series. We've had a lot of fun here in Cairns already. We've had downhill, we've had full tilt, a new event, we had pump track last night, and one thing we've been doing that we've been enjoying is involving you, the viewer, in our conversations. We've been popping up these viewer polls on the bottom right of your screen here, and we got another question for you. What makes you root for a rider? We got 4 options. Go in the chat box, give us a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and let us know what you think. Is it talent and wins? Is that what makes you root for a rider? Do you like rooting for the underdog? Do you root for somebody based on their riding style, or are you looking for that comeback story? One thing we never have a shortage of in slopestyle competition at the highest level is comeback stories, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all those boxes are being checked right there. It could be any of those choices. I mean, so much talent, so much style out there. Underdog vibes. We've got some new riders that are making their way onto the World Tour, being consistent. everybody does love a comeback, and we do have a ton of riders coming back. So it's all there. It's all on the menu for today's meal.
If you're new to slopestyle competition, let me tell you, this one's all about fireworks, but we're going to explain the competition format a little bit for you. This is a world tour. There are 3 stops. We had stop number 1 in New Zealand. We got stop number 2 here in Australia. We'll finish things off in Whistler, British Columbia. But this competition, it's made up of just your 2 runs, your best run counts, a lot of strategy up to play here, and we've seen it play out over the years. We've had the same format for a long time, Alan.
Yeah, when it comes to strategy, that a lot of times kind of correlates to the run order. And we got some of our top dogs that are making those comebacks early in the run order. So that's going to shift things up not only for the judges, because those top riders are going to be setting the tone and not chasing the underdogs. So we have a completely new form here today.
So the beginning of this 2025 season is all about the Southern Hemisphere. Obviously a lot up for grabs out here. Big prize money. If you win every single stop, all 3, you can win the Triple Crown. We saw David Godziek earn that title last year. We've seen Nikolai Rogatkin do it. We've seen Emil Johansson do it. David Godziek, the 3rd rider, to pull off that unbelievable feat. And this year, there's not 4 stops, there's 3 stops. And so there's no throwaways. David Godziek for the men is the only rider with the opportunity to win that Triple Crown. Patricia Druen, the only rider for the women with the opportunity to win that Triple Crown. I mentioned the beginning of the season is all about the Southern Hemisphere. We started out in New Zealand. We're here now, far north Queensland, beautiful Cairns, Australia, the home of the Great Barrier Reef, a great place to come out and do the tourist things, but also just completely becoming a bucket list destination for mountain biking as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to quadruple the amount of trails that are going to be here at the Smithfield Bike Park, and to kind of know that, you know, Crankworks sort of planted that seed for the government officials to make that official. It's, you know, it's just a testament to the sport and to this world tour and how it benefits all around the world.
For sure. We've been doing some fun stuff to involve you, the viewer, out here at all of our broadcasts so far. We had that fan poll out there, but we're also giving away some prizes. We've partnered with Darko. We've been giving away a prize pack every single event. This prize pack is different than anything we've had before. Of course, Tom Istead, a Darko rider, he's got a signature line coming out. Check out what we're giving out today.
Hey guys, Tom Istead here. Bummed to not be in Cairns this year, but I'm excited to be a part of the action from afar with some huge news to drop right now. And I'm excited to announce that myself and Darko are bringing out my new 2025 signature jersey. It is available online right now. But during Crankworks Cairns, you can win my signature jersey and a pair of the black Gravity pants from Darko, the kit that I will be running for the rest of this year. But wait, there's more. For the first time ever, Darko are peeling back the curtain on their all-new protection range. We've got the new DH knee pad and the Gravity vest, built by Rayon Tech. Its next level protection does not compromise on comfort. So, do not miss out on this, enter the giveaway, and good luck.
You're probably wondering how you enter to win that prize pack, the signature Tom Istead gear. Here's what you got to do. Take notes. You got to follow at Crankworks on Instagram. You got to follow at Darko Clothing. You got to go on there and check out the post that shows those prizes up for grabs. Like that post, tag a riding buddy in the comment section of that post, and you'll be entered to win. Before the end of the broadcast, we'll announce who's going to win that Tom Istead signature package of goods. Unfortunate to not have Tom Istead out here, but you know, he's a rider who always just puts it all out on the line. It's been a while since he stopped a run, so he's out on the Gold Series right now, looking to climb the ladder, get those points. I saw that he just got second in qualifying at an event he's at right now, so it's going to be exciting to see him back on the World Tour once he collects those points. Well, this is going to be an action-packed day out here. We are moments away from stop number 2 on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Championship Tour right now. Crankworx Cairns Slopestyle coming up after the break. Don't go away.
Prepare your bike. Visualize the track. Keep your blood pumping. Every mistake is a new opportunity. Keep your grip loose for the wildest rides. Bike on Red Bull TV.
Fear. a constant companion that even the mountain bike elite have to deal with.
And your mind just starts kind of playing tricks on you because you can't do anything.
3, 2, 1, delve deep into the psyche of the athletes and get to know one of their biggest driving forces, reverence, a journey into fear. Now available on Red Bull TV.
I'm Matt Jones, I'm a professional freestyle mountain bike rider and I'm attempting 3 world's first tricks that have never been done on a mountain bike.
And I'm tackling this project with my twin brother Jono.
It's going to be a journey. No points at all for that. Are you going to hit me if I stand here? No.
Matt Jones, Design and Conquer. Now available on Red Bull TV.
So bad, it's a party round here. All I see is gold, get us through my cardies round here. Always on time for the money, never tardy round here. Now I'm on top and they love me, keep some shawties round here. And we go pop us some bubbly, cause we going high,
It is slopestyle time, ladies and gentlemen. And Alan, we've been talking about it all morning, especially on our drive into the venue in here today. We've been reflecting on how we probably haven't seen a stacked field like this ever in slopestyle. We've always had those dominant riders who, you know, it's theirs to lose. If they crash, they're not going to win. You know who's on top. And both in the women's field and the men's field right now, you have multiple riders with multiple wins under their belts, and you also have these youngsters who have what it takes to actually take the win if they stomp their runs, and maybe if some of the top dogs have a little bit of a bobble.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of in a different situation, you know. There's people coming back from injury, there's people, you know, their first event of the season, there's those newcomers, those spoilers, you know, so it's really anybody's game out here. I don't think there's an advantage in any which side. It's just going to be an all-out battle here today.
The standings for the women's field after one stop this season, basically just the results from Rotorua. Patricia Druen leading the charge after that first win, her first Crankworx World Tour appearance. She took the win. No big surprises there. Everybody who's been following her career knew that when she drops in, she's probably the rider with the target on her back. But Natasha Miller has always been so consistent. We talk about the convergence of Patricia Druen and Alma Wiggberg, 2 riders who have won. But Natasha Miller is right there to clean up if anybody has a bobble.
Yeah, Natasha Miller, she was looking really, really strong. So many awesome bar spin combos. Hot bars for sure all the way down, but yeah, she's definitely coming into her own, and I'm excited to see how she develops out here.
So Harriet Burbage-Smith, unfortunately withdrawing from competition earlier this morning. She's had a long quest back from injury. This was going to be her return to form, but that left the door open for Kathy Kypers here to enter the start list from the alternate list. And right here, we're gonna get a great opportunity to see some big changes to the slopestyle course here in Cairns. The 4th year we've returned to Cairns. We've had a lot of skate park influence in the last 3 years, and now a full redesign to this middle section.
Yeah, a lot less wood features. We have a big drop right there, which we haven't seen coming into these new section here. No more dirt half pipe as we see Kathy making her way down the course. All of this is different. The dirt pipe now gone, so the speed is going to be all the way there. It was kind of a struggle for speed in previous years, but it's going to be opportunity everything as Kathy gets that bar spin around and completes a full run. Awesome run right there.
Kathy Kyper's chucking the bars at the bottom. I don't think we've seen her throw a bar spin in a run. It's cool to see Kathy Kyper's coming in from the alternate list and giving us a peek at that course and chucking a bar spin at the bottom. I gotta say, one thing that was missing from this course in the past 3 years would be a flat drop, and we see that is one of the additions here on screen right now. Kathy Kyper's taking off of that flat drop. We've seen some pretty wild tricks in practice off of that. It's a staple feature for a slopestyle contest, so it's good to see that added to the Cairns course.
Yeah, but Crankworks always evolving and doing something different, right? It's a full dirt drop. I don't think we've seen that in any of the Crankworks courses. It's a little bit different feel. You know, you're taking off dirt, so traction can vary a little bit more. It's not as consistent as those wood drops, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays a role.
So, we've got the rider who took the win of the last 2 appearances we saw from her. She's the defending champion here in Cairns. Alma Wiggberg won 2024 right here. And then she took the win, the biggest event of the year last season, Joyride. She was absent from the start list in Rotorua, coming back from injury, and that's been the story with Alma Wiggberg. But anytime she drops in, she could take the win, but we've never seen her drop in while Patricia Druen was also on the start list, so that's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Alma Wiggberg, one of the pioneers as well, the first woman to do a 360 in competition in Whistler a couple of years ago. But yeah, on top of that shoulder injury, finally feeling strong, doing the right thing, skipping out on Rotorua, making sure that strength is all the way there because, you know, she wants to give it her all. She knows that she can win these events as she's done the last 2 times to a Crankworx World Tour event.
We got a viewer comment coming in, K-Lad saying that dirt drop looks so scary. Yeah, for mere mortals, I mean, think about how many people in the world on a bike can even just ride top to bottom on that course. Just a feature like that flat drop would be a no-go for a lot of really good mountain bikers. And the things you're going to see performed on that feature as we work our way through the day here is going to blow your mind. Cranking up the action here, Alma Wiggberg getting ready to drop in, our second rider in this field of 5 today for the women, with 2 wins under her belt and many second places to Patricia Druen on the Gold Series. We're going to see them square off against each other. A suicide no-hander, gap in the hole on off box, Alan.
Yeah, starting out huge right there with a gigantic gap over the on-off box. Flip bar spin on the biggest jump of the course. There's that drop right there. Nice toboggan down, railing that turn. And there's that 360, perfectly smooth. Alma has combinations in all of these tricks, but right now she's just getting her feel for the run. Nice backflip can-can. Gets a little squirrely, but keeps it pointed straight. Yeah. And there's that 360 bar spin. We call that a truck driver. A little bit of a hang-up, but that was an awesome run right there. You see her shrug her shoulders. She knows she's got more in the tank, but that smooth run is going to build the confidence for the rest of the day.
You know what else it's going to do is it's going to put so much pressure on Patricia Druen, who has a very deep bag of tricks. She didn't have to dig that deep into it in New Zealand, but she's going to have to really get outside of her comfort zone if she's going to beat that run we just saw from Alma Wiggberg. A look back.
Yeah, that decision to gap all the way over that on-off box, so awesome. There's that flip bar spin, perfectly landing, both tires down at the same time. A little bit back tire, but nonetheless perfect. Takes a little sit down. She looks comfortable. You see that little nose manual there before she went off the drop? This is dangerous. She's comfortable, she's healthy. This was just a warm-up run. I expect to see Alma step up, even though this was such an amazing run.
I mean, things are really ramping up in the women's field. Not too long ago, we were pretty excited to see every single feature get tricked, but I mean, we've got not just little tricks, we've got some bangers in here, especially finishing off this run with the 360 bar spin that we're seeing right now.
Dude, I mean, it's proof for anything, right? You give it a platform and it has its opportunity to just absolutely explode, and that's what this women's slopestyle field has done.
Big variations, the backflip bar spin up top, the 360 bar spin at the bottom, and then supported by smaller tricks throughout all the other features, but even those smaller tricks were really well executed, like that suicide no-hander over the on-off box. Our score coming in, Alan.
An 89.40. Sorry, that was the previous one. A 90.50, a huge score for Alma right there. Now, let me tell you about Alma. She sort of takes the viewer along for the ride with her. So much emotion in her riding, it's amazing.
Well, Bree is with Alma. Bree?
Alma, first event back for the season. You must be happy with that. So many bangers.
Yeah, it's been a difficult week, but I'm very happy to just make a run, and yeah, we'll see how that scored.
Why has it been so difficult?
Like, the course is really good, but I've been struggling a lot with like getting a consistent speed to all the feet. I don't know, it's just been difficult. Yeah.
It's great to have you back. Have you got more in store for run number 2?
I have a few things I want to pull out, but we have to see.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
The stage is set for riders like Robin Gooms, Natasha Miller, and Patricia Druen to put the pressure on Alma to to improve that run, and I have a feeling everybody's been practicing incredibly hard to put that pressure on. I know Robin Gooms, she's been peppering out some footage of her practicing in Jet Milden's foam pit, the Franklin Farm. Take a look. She's going for double backflips. It was just last season we saw Robin Gooms win the first ever women's slopestyle. It was a big deal that she was doing a backflip with one foot off. Now she's going for front flips and double backflips, just hinting at the progression we're going to see in the women's field here for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. Robin Gooms definitely setting the tone for the women's field here. This is going to be an awesome run.
Started out strong last season, winning that first stop in New Zealand, winning in Innsbruck. She was third in Rotorua to start this season. She's been training hard. The pressure's on. The score to beat a 90.5 from Alma Wiggberg. What does Robin Gooms have?
Big no-foot can-can there. She had a nice can-can on, stayed off the side of her bike to can-can back off on the on-off box. So a lot of creativity right there. Suicide off the drop. Looks like maybe a little miscue. See what she's got on the step down. Keeping her speed up. No footer. Okay, so she knows she made a mistake right now. She wants to get down, stay healthy. She's got plans for run number 2.
It's the 3-star. It's a throwaway run at this point after Alma Wiggberg's 90.5. Robin could tell pretty quick into that run that after the mistake, there was not going to be a chance of bettering that 90.5, and all the pressure is going to be put on run number 2. Let's see if we can figure out where it fell apart here.
Yeah, there was that can-can on lander to can-can off back in. Such creativity right there on that on-off box. Nice no-foot can, great extension, gets back on the pedals, no problem. Suicide off the drop, looking really good here.
I mean, everything was going good to that point. I'm not sure why she decided to wave it off on that double.
I mean, as an athlete coming down, you got to be 100% in the zone and committed to what you're going to do. And maybe she had big plans on that, and it just, a gust of wind, it just didn't feel right. So she's definitely going to regroup and go back up and give it another run.
Yeah, it could have been less than ideal speed for a rotation she had in mind, but regardless, she's waved it off, and we'll look forward to seeing her in run number 2 execute whatever it was she had planned for that run. Nice little 3-star for the crowd. It's good to see the riders, even in a wave-off run, kind of doing those upright appendage removal tricks, because that tells us that the wind is not bugging them too much. You're not going to do that if you got a heavy crosswind.
Yeah, I was looking up at the windsock. It looks really calm up in the course. There's like a nice rainforest canopy up there that's really blocking the wind from coming in. You feel it down here where we're in the open, but on course it's perfect.
It's got a nice little barrier up there with the trees, protected by this valley as well.
Oh, they have barriers out here.
Great ones.
Great ones.
Ooh, speaking of great, we got Natasha Miller next to drop up in the gate. Let's see what she's running for tires. She's chosen the Maxxis Pace front and rear. Nice, clean, simple, easy to remember, 60 PSI. Pumping up as much air as you can into those tires to maximize the speed. So you got everything you need. A lot of these tricks require different speeds. We talked about that might have been the case for Robin, not having the speed she wanted into that dirt-to-dirt double for a rotation. Natasha making sure she takes care of that variable by pumping those Maxxis up hard.
Yeah, just finishing some stocks there on her phone, ready to drop in.
Natasha Miller, 2 second places on the World Tour, only 1 step left on the podium. We know what she's got her sights set on.
So this is where Natasha's dangerous. She's already 5 tricks in and on the 3rd obstacle. So many combos, so much technicality in her riding. Nice toboggan off the step down. Just gets that foot back over the top tube from the can-can. Bar spin coming in. What's she got on the step down? Big suicide no-hander. Lands a little low. She's able to maintain her trajectory. But it looked like she got a little bit off right there.
I mean, a great run going, but she needed to really put an exclamation point at the end of it by playing toward her strengths off that final Showtime booter. She's the queen of combos. We were hoping to see something to get those judges' pens firing. Take a look back. She got pretty far onto this on-off box.
Yeah, nice bar spin up, toboggan down, keeping those combos rolling. Coming around to the biggest jump on the course right here. And we're talking about the step down, it being a dirt step down. You see how much wider the overall base of that takeoff is? when you're doing a wood step down, you can usually see where the landing is. So the added amount of blindness to that step down, when we were up there the other day, that was one of the things I noticed, is it just felt completely blind.
Really short gap as well, and that's challenging sometimes, especially when you don't have a visual reference from being able to see alongside the ladder bridge like you're mentioning. It's hard to get yourself to go slow enough. And when you pop, which a lot of these rotation tricks that you're going to see today require, you need to go even slower because popping puts you out. And so a lot of discipline is required to do some of the crazy technical tricks like we'll probably see later. We're seeing 360 tail whips off of that in practice. We got Matt Jones joining the conversation saying this has to be the best looking course for Crankworks ever. Look at these dirt jumps, bro. Yeah, those dirt lips are exciting to have. I think one thing I'm noticing after we've seen a few runs top to bottom is these runs are over fast. There's not as much dilly-dallying around on the skate park features. This is high intensity from start to finish.
Yeah, it's action-packed from top to bottom. So much opportunity to do the riders' biggest tricks. They've had such a good week here. No bad weather, no wind delays in their training. They've had more time on this course than they have in many years. So we have no excuses for nothing but the best today.
Well, where will this slot Natasha Miller into the standings here? Score to beat is a 90.5. We know we're not going to see anything that will threaten that score. That hot seat score currently held by Alma Wiggberg, but Natasha Miller, where will she slot in? You gotta know it's going to beat the score from Kathy Kypers. We saw basically a throwaway run from Robin Gooms. Also have to keep in consideration that we got Patty Druen dropping next. The judges trying to figure out where they need to leave room.
Cam, you've been competing. I mean, you were competing in this sport for such a long time. We see those judges delivering. What exactly is it they're looking for?
They're trying to figure out where she slots in with also leaving room for what might come next right there. So a ton of room between first and second. You look at that top score, 90.5. Second place is 76.5. So they've basically given themselves the opportunity to have breathing room to watch this run from Patricia Druen and leave room for Alma Wiggberg to improve as well. And Robin Gooms, who has more in the tank, we saw those training clips from her. So the judges giving themselves a lot of space right now for what may come next. And what's coming next right now is exciting. The second appearance on the Crankworx World Tour for the young German slopestyle phenom Patricia Druen. Dominant on the Gold Series. We had her present for a lot of the World Tour events last year, but never taking to the course. We're always wondering what would happen if we did get to see her drop in, and that was the case in New Zealand. She was dominant, but now the pressure's on. We've never seen her compete on a World Tour stop against Alma Wiggberg. The score to beat is a 90.5. Patty gapping that. We saw Alma suicided though.
Yeah, she went big on that gap, coming up a little short on that flip there, but no worries on the speed. Coming to the step down, bar down the step down. Yeah, she was a little bit front end high. Oh, there's a tail whip and she gets bucked over the bars right there. There's no suspension on these bikes to absorb that case. Unfortunately, she came up about 50-50, and that's where the back end just brings you right over the front. We'll get a replay of that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her pop up so quick. That's a long way down. If you get hung up on the top of that landing and your body makes impact with the very flat bottom, I'm really glad to see she popped up so quick. That's next level though. We have not seen a tail whip in the women's field on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour.
Yeah, getting a little hung up maybe on that first run that threw off her rhythm, which led it to that case right here.
She, I think, knew once she was upside down that she was coming up short. We saw Alma backflip bar spin that jump. I would say that would score higher than Alma's trick, the bar spin versus the toboggan. Here's the tail whip. Everything was perfect except for the speed. A little bit too slow, causing her to come up a little bit short. And let's see where she ended up landing and impacting the ground there. Yeah, that was not soft.
No, that was a big hit right there. What happened is she saw herself coming up a little bit short. She hesitated getting that second foot on. So then when she made contact to the ground, all of her weight went right on her seat. And that's just like a pogo stick right over the handlebars. She can see right here, she's coming up a little short, and watch that foot delay and never actually makes contact with the pedal. Bounces right over the bars, but yeah, good to see her back up.
Yeah, I have my fingers crossed that she's feeling well enough to be able to take that second run, because that would have been a really tight battle right there. There were spaces where Alma was beating her, even those first few features, but that tail whip would have scored really high because you always have to consider if it's ever been done in this field before.
One of my favorite things about the format out here at Crankworks Slopestyle is the fact that they re-rack them based off the first runs. So Patricia is still going to have the opportunity to put the pressure on Alma Wiggberg.
Well, we had Harriet Burbage-Smith on our start list this morning. She withdrew. She knows a thing or two about some of the risks that are involved in taking a slopestyle run. Bree's standing by with Haz. How's it going, Bree?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Haz Patricia taking it to the next level. What do you think of her going for that tail whip?
Yeah, I think this week we've seen a lot of firsts for the girls on course, like Patty with the tail whip that hasn't been done, as well as Alma's truck. Like, everyone's stepping up their game, and unfortunately I saw her do, so many perfect tail whips in practice, and that one didn't go to plan, but I fully believe she has it in her next run, so yeah.
From a rider's perspective, you do get 2 runs. How do you reset going into that second run?
I think you need to know what your intentions are. Some people are happy with their first. Some people are fired up to build on their first run and just go for it in the second, which is always fun. I like putting together a solid first run and getting fired up for doing more in your second, which is the adrenaline's already pumping after the first one. So that's kind of the perfect time to go for something new.
We saw you watching that wind flag. Tell us about the conditions on the course today.
Yeah, it is unfortunately probably the worst wind we've had all week. I was just on the phone with some of the girls at the top, letting them know that, yeah, it's just unfortunately not great. It's just, especially this last straight, it's not too bad up top, but yeah, last straight, it's not ideal.
Thanks for your insights, Haz.
No worries.
Thank you, Bree. Well, the first of 2 runs in the bag for the women, and Alma Wiggberg basically just ruling with an iron fist right now, and to hear in her interview that she has more in the tank as well. She'll be the last one to drop once we get all those riders back up to the top of the course for their second run. But right now, it's time to start talking about the men's field. And it's pretty insane to see the first 3 riders we will have dropping.
No, production did not put the run order backwards. This is actually what we're going to do right here. We're starting it off with Erik Fedko, right into Emil Johansson, David Godziek, and Nikolai Rogatkin. What a start to this event.
The World Tour overall standings are what dictate our run order for run number 1 right here. Of course, for run number 2, it'll be reverse order from the rankings from run number 1, but we're going to see those top dogs who are absent from the first event to kick off this season. Erik Fedko, Emil Johansson, and last year's Triple Crown winner David Godziek coming up, the first 3 riders to drop. This puts pressure on the riders as well as the judges. It's going to be insane to see Tim Bringer, the last rider to drop, be able to have the luxury of seeing what these riders choose to do. We got the 8 types of Fedko out here, a rider who is so versatile. The style boss, he's not a stranger to the dirt jumps or the big long travel suspension bike on the big terrain, but also a slopestyle whiz kid with tricks like that 360 windshield wiper. This guy has 7 podiums, 3 second places. We've never seen him win a Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour competition. This is his first event back, so it's going to be exciting to see where his level's at. I think he probably could have ridden in New Zealand, but he was playing it smart and wanted to come back when he was a little bit closer to 100%. So let's see where his level is here. Erik Fedko on course. Oh, well, that answers all the questions.
Starts off with a huge 360 tail whip to barspin over box to the signature Erik Fedko. Huge corked Indian Air Superman seat grab 360, flipping off the flat drop straight into a cork 720. This is huge. Staying low, keeping his speed. There's a windshield wiper 360.
What?
Another Indian Air Superman seat grab.
Oh, come on, get it.
Double backflip comes around. Absolutely perfect. What a way to start this men's slopestyle event here in Cairns. If any of Erik Fedko's second places were ones that slipped away, it was here just a couple of years ago with a flat tire out of nowhere, sitting in the position to take the win, and he wants it here today.
That is classic Erik Fedko right there, picking up right where he left off before that big injury.
You can see
the hard
emotion
work is paying off.
You can see the emotion of months of rehab and hard work coming to fruition right there in Erik Fedko's face. Man, that was a run.
This combo, I mean, the 360 tail whip would have been a huge banger, but to catch the pedals and chuck those bars is next level. Here we go. 2 tricks that would have been completely worthwhile on that jump, and he puts them together. The 360 downside tail up, catching the seat with his hands into that perfect extension Indian air seat grab.
The seat just fluttered straight into his hands. Such perfection and execution with everything that Fedko's doing. That's what the judges are looking for. They're looking for height, amplitude, execution, style, and Erik Fedko has all of it right here to start this run out.
This struck me as a second run where you've already got a good one in the bag and you decide to roll the dice. This was the first run of the competition and Erik Fedko's first run back after so much time spent off the circuit. Wow. To do that 360 Indian air seat grab on the step down as well is going to score high.
He had me holding my breath on that double backflip right there. You see him staying completely tucked. That shows me that he was in a rush to get those wheels back to the ground.
I know, that body language made me think, oh, does he have the speed? That's one of those runs where you just are on the edge of your seat hoping they don't throw it away on the last jump.
Yeah, when you stay so tight like that, you can't see the landing until you're already on the ground. And there's the score, Cam, an 84.75.
That is how you start a slopestyle competition for the men's field right there. 84.75, the score to beat held by Erik Fedko. What is this? What is this? The next rider to drop is Emil Johansson, the rider who is the winningest in the history of slopestyle competition with 13 wins. He has won the Triple Crown 3 times, but last season he did not get a win. He was absent from the start list in New Zealand as he recovered from injury, an injury he sustained at Red Bull Joyride, the final stop of last year's season. A lot of stuff repaired in that shoulder, and then he also took the opportunity to repair some other stuff that he'd been dealing with his body, and he has put the time in to be 100% for this moment right now. And you mentioned it at the top of the pre-show that you're not going to see him here unless he's in condition to win. This is so fun to watch. Emil Johansson on course.
Here we go. What's he going to start it off with? Double 360, double bar spin 360 to XF, so a quadruple combo right off the bat. 360 double tail whip, fully corked out. Nose press to one-footed invert off the drop. Opposite 360 downside tail whip. Keeping it low. We see riders keeping the speed up there. Opposite 360 regular. Oh no!
He went so deep on that step down.
His hand slipped off mid-run, and he grabbed back on. I don't even know what happened right there. Coming off of an opposite 360 double tail whip. We don't see many riders doing that trick opposite. Let's hope he's okay.
I mean, that was a classic.
Did you see a hand slip off?
There's a lot to digest when we take a peek at these replays, but obviously right now we're just hoping that Emil's okay after that heavy impact. Landing sideways and very deep on the step down, second to last feature on the course after an action-packed run.
It looked like at one point he was only holding on with one hand, completely out of control with the bike, but somehow managed to grab back on. And maybe the only reason he crashed was because the wheel failed?
He almost, I mean, he was really low and really sideways, and that's why the wheel exploded. He might have crashed even if the wheel held together, but he almost threw it away on the 360 downside whip right before that. It looked like he got stalled out. I can't believe he found the pedals and was able to maintain composure enough to throw the next trick.
It sort of reminded me when we saw him come back from a near-death experience in Austria a couple of years ago off the whale tail, seemingly coming back out of nowhere. Let's see what we got.
We're gonna get a peek at some replays now. He was doing what Emil always does, and that is to balance out his run. He had the 360 double tail up top. He was complementing that with the opposite 360 double tail up in the middle. Here we go, 360 double bar spin to X up. We've seen him chuck a triple on that before, but he really started to heat things up here on the second feature, the biggest jump on the course. That was that 360 double tail up, everything regular there.
The height on this. unbelievable and highly rewarded by the judges.
Man, with this new course, things happen so fast. This was that nose press 360 invert.
Love how his foot just dangles off on that one. Now this is opposite.
3 triple down web. Here's, oh, that's the hand you were talking about. How did he get back on the bike?
Like, it almost looked like he had it. And then
really
the wheel
did. It's true though.
So it looked like maybe he was going to kick for another down web, and his hand slipped off, and he was completely off the bike, but somehow managed to get back on and get all 4 limbs back in control of the bike. But when he landed, yeah, that wheel just completely exploded.
I have no idea how he found that handlebar. It's almost like that memory from Innsbruck you were talking about, where it looks like he's bailing off the bike, and the next thing you know, the hand's back on the handlebars, the feet are back on the pedals. I don't know how he does it. Could watch that in slow motion about 12 more times.
Looking at the pole right here, what makes you root for a rider? Riding style. Well, we've seen a lot of style out here so far today. A lot of it up at the top of the hill, yet to come.
After such a long road to recovery for Emil, really hoping he's feeling all right after that heavy impact.
You know, looking at the crash, probably looking at a concussion, but we can only hope the best. A lot of precaution being taken into consideration when it comes to the head, and I love to see that in the sport.
Well, little recap of where we are right now. Erik Fedko, the first rider to drop, stomped an absolutely stellar trademark run, returned to form with that 84.75, and then that crash we just saw from Emil Johansson, and now last year's man to beat. He took the Triple Crown. David Godziek will be the next rider to drop. Insane to start with these 3 riders. Might as well take a look back at that 84.75 from Erik Fedko, where he left it all out on the floor. And I said this right after the run, and I stand by this. That really appeared to be a no-holds-barred second run type of approach to run 1. It just really shows these riders are looking at the star list, knowing the level everybody's at, and knowing that there's not really any point in a safety run out here if you want to do well.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your earlier thing, saying how that's, you know, a run that we would usually see in the second rounds, it's amazing how some of those like Hail Mary tricks have worked their way back into the first runs.
So look back at the run from Erik Fedko. Started everything off here.
I mean, the whole run was amazing from top to bottom, but this next move, this is what really kicked it off for me. That 3 down whip, grabs the seat to Indian air, signature style, just absolutely perfect. Backflipping in right there. That was a trick we saw him trying on his second runs in Innsbruck a couple years ago and not being able to pull.
Over Rowie a little bit on that 720, straight on the pedals to get the speed for this. The 360 windshield wiper, and then the 360 Indian air seat grab on the step down. The judges love that. Never a bad way to finish off a slopestyle run, choosing the double backflip on the last jump.
Erik Fedko just clocked in. It's 2025 and he's here.
It's 2025 and we've experimented a little bit on the Crankworx World Tour, unveiling a new event yesterday. It's called Crankworx Full Tilt. We don't have speed and style on tour anymore. We've got this new experiment that we're debuting here in Cairns. It's a 3-rider, 1-course head-to-head race format where passing is up for grabs. Unlike dual slalom or speed and style or pump track, you're not on your own course. You have to fight for those lines. And it was really fun to see how this shook down yesterday.
Yeah, and true to form, Crankworks opening the door for more superstars. Josh Jolly right here, taking the win. A newcomer coming from BMX, a junior BMX world champion. Had a heck of a time yesterday, not only clinching that gold medal in triple threat, the first ever, but also in the pump track.
Check the replay for Crankworx Full Tilt if you missed it. It'll be fun to see that discipline evolve and potentially find its way onto more stops of the World Tour in the future. So we're awaiting our 3rd rider for our men's field as we get a look on screen right now of Emil Johansson exiting the course. We did not like to see that, man.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, it's just a lot of precaution being taken when it comes to head injuries. You know, we all know that's not something to mess with. You only get one shot at the brain.
We started things off full bore in the women's field. Second rider to drop, Alma Wiggberg. Basically, I mean, looked like, you know, a run from the men's field just a few years ago as she gapped over the first feature, the on-off, with a perfectly executed stand-up suicide no-hander. Rotating variations like that backflip bar spin on the biggest jump of the course. She said at the bottom of this run she had more in the tank too if she gets pushed by the rest of the field.
Oh yeah, she absolutely does. You know, one of the things I'm noticing out of Alma as she's progressing as a slopestyle athlete, you know, I was saying a little earlier how she really takes us along for the ride. You can feel kind of the nerves she's going through and the good times, the ups and the downs, but I'm not noticing those nerves. It's just confidence I'm feeling out of her riding now.
Especially coming into that final jump, knowing that everything went so well, you could just kind of go, I'll play it safe and just do a 360, but she chucked those bars knowing that she's going up against Patricia Druen on the World Tour for the first time. So next rider on the start list here for the men will be last year's dominant force, Poland's David Godziek. He took the win here last year for the first time in his career after so many podiums, and then just backed it up.
Hasn't stopped winning since.
Backed it up at Joyride. And it's really interesting to see these riders dropping early because you know stop number one's champ, Tim Bringer, gets the luxury of sitting up there at the top of the course and watching these runs, seeing how they score, and he gets to use that to decide if he's going to do an all-out run or if he's going to have the ability to play it safe at all. Something tells me these riders are going to push him.
See that little smirk right there? I think he's having a good time. I'm excited for this.
Such a competitor.
Okay, it's going to be Godziek's first run in the 2025 World Tour Series. Let's see what he's got.
8 podiums on his resume, 3 of them gold medals from last season. On course now, David Godziek.
Truck up. Looks like an opposite tail whip down right there. Kicking with his front foot. Straight into a no-handed cork 1080. The no-handed twister, a little under-rotated, but kept it under control. Backflip bar spin off the completely blind dirt drop. Front flip bar spin, a glitch right there. Was that a tough no-hander out? Keeping his speed on this step down. Triple tail whip. Tough no-hander out of the truck driver.
Oh, the catch him up to finish it off. Huge run for David Godziek.
That was the trick that eluded him at the win here 2 years ago. Stomping it again here today.
The cashy whip is money in the bank for David Godziek. What a way to cap off that run. Wow is right.
It's so cool to see the emotion of these riders and how much they've put into coming back and being able to perform at this highest level. Take me through this run, Cam.
Truck driver up, opposite tail whip down. You got to score that high because everything happens so quick. Just demanding precision out of both of those tricks, which are both technical. Now the twister, which is a front cork 1080, adding the variation with the fully extended no-hander.
Yeah, the timing of that trick is unbelievable. When you take your hands off, it actually speeds your rotation up a little bit by the time you get to the round. So you got to time it perfectly. And that, a backflip bar spin, being able to pull that hard and have the time to get the bars round off the drop.
You were wondering if you got the hands off. We saw him getting the hands off after that bar spin in the front flip. He didn't get the hands off, but that's all right because guess what? He left nothing on the table the rest of the way down. This triple tail whip. And here's the jump where we saw Emil go down. It's gotta be so hard to drop after that injury break. 360 bar spin to tuck no-hander, and here's where he needed the hammer.
The 3 corked frontwards cashy 360 tail whip. So many spins and rotations going on throughout the top to the bottom. Opposites, regulars, really the full package right here, and stomping off the Showtime booter for this Cairns crowd.
Well, a couple minutes ago, all the pressure was on the shoulders of David Godziek, returning to competition after a dominant last season, returning from an injury recovery, but now all the pressure's on the judges. They have to decide if that has what it takes to better the 84.75 from Erik Fedko.
Such different runs.
Ooh, they made their decision. 90.5. We have a new leader. David Godziek into the hot seat. Brie, how's he feeling down there in the finish corral?
David, it is so good to have you back, and that was a huge run, finished with a catchy whip. How was that from your perspective?
I'm just super stoked to be back here right after my injury. The course is amazing, my favorite again. So yeah, lovely to be here. Thank you.
There was such a big injury break. I mean, how tough is it for you to drop in after that?
I just felt okay in the practice, and it was all I was thinking about. That I love the sport and I want to push myself.
Anything more in store for run number 2?
Yeah, if I need to, I'm gonna put some more.
Thanks, best of luck.
Thank you.
I love it every time they say that in their finish corral interviews. If I need to, I got more. And then we just start thinking, well, what else could you add to that? Obviously, he didn't get the hands off on that fronty bar spin up top, but we know he has even more at the finish line jump as well. Do you remember a couple years ago, we saw him go for that cashy roll down whip, which I don't think we've seen successfully completed still. But next rider in the gate right now, Nikolai Rogatkin, a rider who has won the Triple Crown, the first rider to do it.
Nikolai, a true warrior, riding out here with a sore back. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it, but he's not going to miss the opportunity right there.
Yes.
Giant catch roll over the on-off box, just floating by our camera. There it goes for the catch roll, tail whip right there. Feet stomping straight on the pedals, bar spin up. Tail whip off, getting extra tricks in. Every trick counts. Big cork 720. Keeping their speed. We've seen a lot of the riders doing that right there. Goes for the twister. One of the hard jumps, completely blind right there into the double tail whip, down the step down.
Come on, Nikolai.
Oh, he concludes on the front flip bar spin.
How did he salvage that? Yeah, Nikolai.
Summoned his bars to go back into his hand on that bar spin front flip. That was wild.
You know what? That is so good to see. He botched his first run in New Zealand to start this season, but he's finished off last season so strong, winning the last 2 gold events of the year, which were an insanely high level of competition. He showed he still belongs here on the World Tour. And after a mistake to start off the 2025 season, to see him drop a top to bottom run here in Cairns is so great. Man, that thing was action-packed. He's been fighting so hard after that crash he had on the Masters of Dirt Tour. What was that, just like a week ago?
Yeah, like a true warrior, as I said. Nothing's gonna hold this man back. If he's still breathing and he's able to get on 2 feet, he's gonna get on his bike and on this course and give it everything he's got right there. Look at that corked out 720, spotting the landing, just bringing it in, keeping his speed going. We've seen a lot of people, not this jump, but the next one, kind of, you know, lay up on their tricks. This is not a layup trick, Cam.
No. This is a front cork 1080. The rider who brought it to slopestyle competition, chucking it mid-run, and here's where he almost threw it away. How did he get his hand back on the bar?
Amazing right there. Let's see if he was looking for more bar spins right there.
Oh, he was looking for a tucked
Yeah, he was going to bring it tucked in too, so we know Nikolai's got a little more in the tank as well.
Watch this. Luckily, when you're upside down in a front flip and your hands come off, the bar's almost like a magnet, just shoot into your lap, and that's what saved him right there.
Unfortunately, while you're doing a front flip and all that's happening, you can't actually see where you're going.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that comes with just thousands and thousands of repetitions. This guy's such a veteran on tour, and he's been upside down with his hands off the bars unintentionally many times in the past. It's almost like instinct. He knew where to find them.
Yeah, his father, a trainer in the gymnastics world, definitely has taught this man some body awareness while in the air.
Nikolai has been here for so long. I remember him just showing up as a BMX crossover back, I want to say 2014. It took him 4 more years to start dominating. 2018, got that Triple Crown, showed that it was possible. Emil then did it 3 times. Godziek did it last season. Tim Bringer has an opportunity to do it this season. And look at this, Nikolai Rogatkin shooting into second place with an 85.5, slotting in ahead of Erik Fedko.
Yeah,
such a man of the people, he hasn't even paid attention to his score yet. Yeah, safe to say things have very much heated up here as we take a look at our next rider in the gate. He's had a third place. He's been on the podium as Innsbruck 2023. To start this season, he crashed on a twister on the last jump in Rotorua. He was going for broke, and I'd expect him to take that same approach here in Cairns. He was second to start the season off in the Christchurch Summer Series, a lower level event.
Lucas Huppert definitely capable of jumping up this leaderboard right here. What's he got? Tail whip up, 360 bar spin out, so staying technical, straight on the pedal, something big right here. Goes for that twister on the huge jump. Absolutely sticks the landing.
Oh, we just saw from Nikolai's score, they love the twister. There it is, the 360 tail off the flat drop.
So hard to get the momentum going for that 360 tail whip off the flat drop, an opposite double tail whip, showing his versatility right there into the cash roll. Cork 720, hangs up right there, takes the pedals. Will he have enough speed? And just under rotates, and his bar slips out. Huge run for Lucas Huppert. Just literally and figuratively slipping through his fingertips.
Man, we saw from Nikolai's run that the judges love the twister. We saw Hoopy drop it on top on the biggest jump on the course. We probably saw the biggest trick we've seen yet on the flat drop with that 360 tail whip. We saw him post a clip of that on Instagram yesterday saying this is never not difficult. Doesn't get any easier. Unfortunately, throwing things away on the final jump there with that front flip double bar spin attempt. Let's see if we can slow things down here and see what went wrong. Obviously, coming into the jump with less than ideal speed after that case.
Yeah, right there you can see his hand did get on, but because of that slight under rotation due to lack of speed, when his back tire lands, it just rips the handlebar straight out of his hand. Boom, right there. Yeah, it looks like he didn't quite get a full lock on that grip. And as he landed, it just ripped right out of his hand.
Yeah, it's surprising he even went for that banger after coming up short on the previous jump. And with a little bit more airtime, we've seen him stomp that so many times. It's basically like, you know, try to do the same thing with less airtime, and it's going to be exponentially more difficult. Not able to get that hand back on the handlebar, also not able to get the distance or the rotation needed. All symptoms of a lack of speed.
To have that front flip variation checklist in his bag of tricks is so good for that moment in time, because when you case a jump and you're low on speed, that's kind of the go-to. If you have those front flips in your bag of tricks, that's like your fail-safe. You're throwing your body weight through the jump and you're able to get across, which he did. He just didn't quite have the amplitude to get that second bar spin around.
Hoopy slotting into fourth place there. Next rider in the on-deck circle, Liam Baylis. We saw him on his rookie Crankworx World Tour appearance earlier this season in New Zealand. He came out swinging, man. Unfortunately, with that format we were testing out last event, wasn't able to make it into the super final and take that second run. But we've seen his practice clips, and he's got huge moves. Expect to see all the stuff pulled out here. This rider looking to make his mark in slopestyle. Out of Canada, Liam Baylis on course.
Going huge up and over the on-off box right there. Big cork tail 360, so he looks like he's a little off rhythm here. Not gonna be everything he wants. Nice flip off the flat drop right there. Big cork 720. We're seeing that windsock blow a little bit more, so maybe that's putting some effect. Nice front flip on that jump that we've seen people just getting speed on. It's a double backflip in the wind and the rain, not even bothered by it.
Look at him, he's like, oh my gosh, it's raining. He's talking about something right there. I'm curious what happened. That's.
Dude, it was all in my eyes. I couldn't see anything.
Are you good?
I did. I missed it. I'm like,
yeah, it's that second feature. I want to say in practice he's been doing the 360 windshield wiper, which would have taken this run to the next level. But with the rain starting to fall, no goggles on. Yeah, try to like be blindfolded and do your biggest trick on the biggest jump on the course.
Yeah, you could see him kind of flinch going at that lip. Looked like he was winding up, ready to do something big. But yeah, looks like maybe that rain just caught him out right in the eyes.
I'm not a big fan about talking about luck in sports because it's kind of a sensitive topic. It's a silly one to think about. But when rain starts, when you drop, there's no real other way to categorize that. It's bad luck right there.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yep.
But man, he didn't stop trying, that's for sure. Just going huge.
Did you see on that front flip, he peeks over his shoulder to catch a glimpse of the landing? Rubbing the raindrops out of his eyes, blinking feverishly into this final jump.
What trick do you grab out of the bag if you can't see pedaling at the big jump at the bottom? It's not a double backflip for me.
Straight air.
Impressive. I guess if you're spinning, the water can't hit your eyes? I don't know.
If you're upside down, the rain can't get you. Well, it gets you when you're staring at this. Probably the worst trick to do in the rain. Let's stare at the sky twice. Yeah, it just shows the level he's on. To know that the run's a throwaway and still chuck a double flip on the final jump. It's probably the only time you're ever going to hear me say this, but bad luck for Liam Baylis right there.
I mean, you can look at it that way. It is an improvement over his last time at the course. He made it to the bottom here. He's looking pretty happy. He's got something to build on. He will get another opportunity to get back up there and show us maybe what he wants to do.
Well, taking a look at the radar this morning, there's little tiny systems that breeze by overhead periodically. But from what I saw, nothing that looks like it's going to really stick around long enough to give us sustained rain. 6 riders left to go and run one in our men's field. And the next will be the UK's Jake Atkinson. Coming into today's competition off of the alternate list, this will be his 5th Crankworx Slope appearance. Best result came right here in Cairns last year. It was a 9th. A result that doesn't really represent what Jake is capable of. He comes from a skate park background. I've been seeing him get real creative on this first feature, the on-off box. But yeah, this is kind of the type of stuff you have to be ready for in the big leagues right here is adversity. A little bit of rain, a lot of crazy stuff happening to your comrades who have dropped in before you. This is where mental strength plays the biggest role. Jake Atkinson on course. Oh, come on.
Bar spin to manual to bar spin right there. So technical. Huge on the catch roll.
Oh, wait, do I hear? Oh, I thought I heard air coming out of the tower. That's just his loud hub.
That's an on-trend hub right there, Cam. Going big with the 360 tail up now. He looks like he's starving for speed a little bit. Coming down this course. Backflip tail whip. Coming into the step down. Double tail whip. Goes for the twist shot. No! Almost manualed out of that.
Going for the cast. How do you hit the ground that hard and immediately throw hang loose signs? Ah! Man, I said before his run that 9th place top result for him did not represent what he's capable of. And he was going for it there. To have such technicality like that, bar spin to manual, the bar spin off of the on-off box, and then finish with a twister. One of the biggest tricks we've seen all day, a trick that we've seen rewarded by the judges already.
We saw him quite a ways up, starting to starve for speed a little bit. Let's see if we can see really what happened here. Double tail right there, looked pretty good. Nothing really wrong, got a good pump, couple pedals in, and there he absolutely unloads for the 1080.
Just landed front tire high. Yeah, Alan, for people who are wondering what this madness is that they just saw, how would you categorize that rotation? What exactly is going on there?
So it's 3 spins, 1,080 degrees of sideways rotation. But in order to make that rotation possible, he's leaning forward and fully corking it out. When you do that, you're able to twist up and tighten your body just like an ice skater. It increases the speed of that rotation. And that's exactly what he was doing. But there's a third element to it. As you're coming around, you have to get that front cork back to level and that front tire back to the ground. And unfortunately, he was just a little front end high, under-rotated that portion of the rotation, and it kept his side rotation going, and off the side he went.
Those front cork variations, casserole type of moves, you really want them to come in like the end of a flare on a quarter pipe. And this one flopped over a little bit too front tire high. Was not able to set that front tire down, kind of landed in a manual while still spinning. It just blows me away to see a rider hit the ground that hard and pop up so quick, seemingly unscathed. We see a comment come through. Jake is such a sender, I'm a fan. I agree. He is a sender. I too am a fan. Oh man, Chance Moore coming up next. The rider who has landed in 5th place in his first 2 Crankworx Slopestyle appearances, unveiled a new trick for slopestyle mountain biking at stop number 1 of this season in New Zealand. Blew us all away. He was sitting on a good run in run number 1, and then he went for this.
Yeah, it definitely caught me by surprise. I was just seeing and calling a flip tail whip right there, but then as soon as his feet get on the pedals, he corks his head and his shoulders and comes around. So it's a corked 720 with a tail whip at the beginning, and man, he was close.
And the crazy thing is the fact that, you see the reaction from Nikolai Rogatkin.
Hold on to your beards, people.
The fact that he catches the backflip tail up and it looks like he's done, and then the late initiation on that 360 is what really makes that trick special. Will we see him chuck that trick here in run number 1 in Cairns? I wanted to comment on this as well. We just saw Jake Atkinson go down on the twister on the final jump. Imagine coming off of that lip after it's been raining. That's a wooden lip, and you are putting all of your energy into that lip, spinning. It's got to be slippery.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing on the Cork 7 a little bit higher up, but he was definitely risking it all. I see some battling with eye protection as well. Some of these riders, the humidity here, just for you fans at home. We are in the rainforest, the oldest rainforest, and it is humid, and that causes fog on your goggles. So we've seen some riders without lenses, but now it's raining. And we see lenses in Chance's goggles, but he's constantly wiping them. So there's so many elements to this competition. If you look close enough, it's just a battle out there.
Any recreational mountain biker, trail rider who's ridden in humidity and tried to make goggles work know that lens management is a full-time job, but it's so important here right now with intermittent rain showers. Looks like we got Chance Moore with the blackout lenses here. He'll be able to see where he's going. Chance Moore, after 2 5th places in his first 2 appearances, is on course. Backflip double bar spin over the first feature.
Backflip bar to bar to start it off. Backflip double tail whip on this huge jump. What's he gonna have on this drop? Front flip just diving off. Opposite 720 right there, so mixing up with the technicality.
Not even pedaling here.
Yeah, looking really smooth. Backflip, opposite tail whip. 720.
He should have the speed here. Oh, yeah.
Invert to can-can. I don't know if that's what he had in his mind at the top, but so creative. One of the better audibles he could have pulled out, a triple combination. That was an amazing run.
We have seen so much consistency out of this Canadian youngster. I mean, it's reminiscent of, you know, the days of Brandon Semenuk, the days of Brett Reeder. We've got such a wave of talented Canadians shaking things up here on the World Tour.
And you know what looks familiar with those names you just threw out right there? It's not just how perfect he is with the tricks. It's those moments in between. Just look how comfortable he is riding his bike, pumping around the berms, taking his pedals. Just looks so smooth and comfortable. He does not look like anybody that is a newcomer to the sport.
Watch him not take pedals right here. Coming out of those berms where a lot of riders for that final straightaway are cranking in. And this front flip off this flat drop right here, when you're talking about the biggest tricks we've seen so far, it's got to be stuff like the flat drop backflip bar spin from Godziek, the 3-whip from Huppert, but this front flip from Chance Moore, he's been doing it so many runs in practice. No pedals here. That's that section I was talking about.
Yeah, had that opposite 720.
Oh, the backflip oppo whip.
Backflip oppo whip right there.
Can't forget about that.
Mixing it up, coming in front tire, just so strong right there. Not even hesitating.
I feel like it's aggressive to watch riders slightly under-rotate tricks. It shows so much confidence to just lean in. Front flip, invert to one-footed can-can. It is the trick that he's been doing in all of his top-to-bottom runs in practice. Gotta think that he's got more in the tank for run number 2 as well. We saw that trick that he tried in run number 2 in New Zealand. I don't know, I feel like that second jump on the course, that's the one that offers up the most airtime. Could we potentially see that in run 2 for Chance Moore? But right now it's all about what the score will be and where he will slot into that leaderboard.
Judges deliberating.
90.5 the score to beat from David Godziek. To crack into the podium, he needs to beat an 84.75. It's an 88.37 into second place for Chance Moore.
Bumping Rogatkin down to third place, but Chance Moore staking his claim out here on the Crankworks Cairns Slopestyle course.
Oh, things are heating up. We've got Paul Couderc next to drop. Second place at Joyride in 2023. Fourth at our last stop, where we started our 2025 World Tour in New Zealand. Never count Paul Couderc out. One of the most creative riders to ever ride a mountain bike. Well versed on the big bike as well as the hardtail. What's he got for us?
Huge backflip tail, but look how long he went right there. Getting the amplitude. Can double backflip early up, so doing combo double backflips. What's he got on the step down?
He's got the front.
Rotating right there. Somehow able to hang on. Triple bar spin 360. Keeping his speed on the step down, taking a pedal in. Backflip opposite tail whip. Flip bar spin, so nosed in, so committed.
Come on, Paul.
And there's the opposite course, 720. Absolutely nailing it, so committed, front and down. Solid as can be with every move from top to bottom.
How deep did he land on that final jump with that opposite cork 7?
That was the thing. He was going deep on so many of those jumps, but he was coming from so high, it didn't affect his speed. He didn't panic at any point in time and just kept it going.
Swinging right out of the gate. Look how far he transferred left. It almost makes me wonder if he's doing that on purpose to set up nice and outside for this berm, generate as much speed as possible for this biggest jump on the course where he throws a double backflip one-footed can-can.
Yeah, he was just setting up the apex while jumping over the on-off box. So casual, yes. Look at that double tire at the exact same time. That is perfect execution. And this, when we talk about why that's so gnarly, because it's double blind. It's blind because it's a step down, but it's blind because in a forward rotation, you're staring at your stomach. And over-rotates just a little bit, but able to hang on and didn't even seem to bother him.
The judges loved the last run we saw from Chance Moore. A lot of similarities here. Paul also going for the backflip opposite tail that we're seeing right there. Also going for the flat drop front flip. And then huge banger to finish things off. I want to point out how far down the landing he goes. Last bike length of transition, nose in, full commitment on that opposite cork 720.
But look at this landing, stomps it absolutely incredibly strong. So much authority with that. Didn't even seem to phase him how low he landed.
The judges, they're thinking, okay, we just put Chance Moore into second place. We've got Fedko in third place. Now we have this banger run. Where does it land?
All these runs we've been seeing so far, having all of the pieces of the puzzle just falling into place.
He needs to beat 85.5 to knock Nikolai Rogatkin out of bronze medal contention. We saw that run from Chance Moore just before Paul slot into second with an 88.37. What will the story be here for Paul Couderc? I gotta think we're right up in that 3-4 window here. Score coming in for Paul Couderc, an 83, slotting in right ahead of Liam Baylis there into 5th place, right behind Erik Fedko. Oh, there we go. This guy, after 5 second places, took that win, the first stop in New Zealand. And, you know, he's never been in this high pressure of a situation where he is the guy to beat. He's leading the overall series standings. What do you think? Is this high pressure, or is this kind of an advantage being able to see where the level's at before you drop?
Yeah, I think Bringer's ready for this. He is ready to go for sure. But first up, this is going to be exciting. Ben Thompson is ready to go.
Ben Thompson took his first World Tour podium at the first event of this season in Rotorua. It was a 3rd place. Before that, his best result was a 5th right here in Cairns in 2022. Look at this, Ben Thompson, second to last rider to drop. He is here to stay. One of the top riders in the world. Finally cracking onto that podium at the last event. Here we go. What does Ben Thompson have for us?
Big front flip, tuck no-hander over the on-off box, just floating past the camera. Such a cool shot. Oh, and he pulls a 360 bar spin to downside double tail whip. Front flips off of the on-off jump, so dangerous. 360 tail whip, keeping his run really smooth.
Opposite 360 tailwhip, I believe.
Triple truck driver.
He is, oh no!
Slips his pedals right there.
Oh, he was making everything look so easy. Better than seeing him go down, but still so frustrating after a spotless run with only 1 feature left to go.
Could taste the finish right there. Had a strong run from top to bottom.
Gonna be walking in to the finish. Let's take a look though at the trick list so far. Front flip tuck no-hander.
Ben Thompson will set his sights on run number 2. The judges still have to figure out a score for this run, of course. With so many riders having issues, they're gonna give him a score.
Ben Thompson.
This right here, what a way to start it out. Just floating over the on-off box, fully tucked in.
I feel like the theme of this run before it fell off the tracks was casual. He was so calm, cool, and collected throughout these huge technical tricks.
Yeah, quadruple combinations right there on the biggest jump on the course. Watch his feet, straight on the pedals.
Magnets.
And another front flip. That's not the diving board you really want at the community pool, but everybody just seems to be going.
Yeah, so crazy to see 3 riders chucking flat drop front flips on that. Great addition to this course. It's kind of what was missing to the previous year's designs. This course is so full speed top to bottom. And here's where things went wrong for Ben Thompson on this double tail whip. Looks like putting his right foot on just a little bit too much on the heel, perhaps.
Yeah, just coming up maybe 2 inches short on this jump, and his foot bounced off rather than made that connection with the pins. In his mind, he was already at the next jump. What that next trick was, we're gonna have to wait for second runs.
Well, Tim Bringer, no stranger to the podium, but this may be new territory for him right here, being the top-ranked rider, the final one to drop. All eyes on him, all the pressure on him, the target on his back. The top run score right now, a 90.5 from the rider he's battled it out with season after season. Last year's Triple Crown winner, David Godziek. Let's take a look back at our current leading run from David Godziek.
Watch how clean all of these tricks are. Just perfection in Godziek's riding out here.
I love this feature, the fact that you can have riders chucking huge tricks over the whole thing, or riders getting tech with 2 tricks on and off. altitude he lacked on feature number 1, he made up for it real quick with that twisty no hand on the second feature.
Yeah, just so calm and controlled. Mixing it up. Getting the spins on the bike. Tail whips, front flip, 360s, back flips, 1080s. He's got it all.
You see a lot of strength there out of Godziek. As soon as his feet touch the pedals on that Kashi whip, just whipping his shoulders around to get the last bit of rotation. But probably the strongest rider in the field here is the giant out of France, Tim Bringer. He is able to muscle around more rotations than anybody. On kind of what a theme is for his riding is he'll do some of these big rotating tricks on features where you wouldn't expect to see him. That is his strength. There's plenty of opportunities for that type of approach here on this Cairns course.
You asked if I thought he was nervous. I don't. I think this is exactly where he wants to be, and we're about to see something special.
Here we go. Final rider to drop in run number 1 here in Cairns, Tim Bringer on course.
Tim Bringer dropping with all kinds of speed, and he pulls that double backflip tuck no-hander over the on-off box, straight into backflip, double tail it to bar spin. Backflip tuck no-hander off the flat drop, so hard to get that rotation going. 360 double tail it, bar to bar. 360 double tail it to bar right there.
Right there. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. That was the formula that gave him the win in March in New Zealand. Applying those tricks here to this Cairns, Australia course. Will the formula work here with David Godziek in the hot seat? The pressure has now transferred to the judges.
Man. Impressive top to bottom, commanding run from the only man that still stands the opportunity to win the Triple Crown, Tim Bringer.
Taking those tricks that we saw him do in New Zealand, applying them to this course. But one thing the New Zealand course did not have was a feature like this, the extension on the hands and that double backflip no-hander. What do you say?
Watch his knees right here. You see his knees go forward? He was struggling for rotation at that point, but did exactly what he needed to do, recovered perfectly, straight into this absolutely insane combination on the biggest jump on the course. How do you recover like that?
Backflip, double tail to late bar spin. This is what I was talking about, though, just muscling out the variations where you don't expect to see them.
I mean, when we're talking about muscling it, in order to get a backflip rotation going, you need a transition. There's no transition on the drop, so how he gets that pull is all heart and all muscle.
Think about the final 2 features in New Zealand. We had a step down where he did a double backflip. Here we go, the last 2 features here. Step down, double backflip. And then this is what worked for him in New Zealand, the cash roll variation, chucking the X up in there after he spots the landing. The only difference is in New Zealand, we did not have David Godziek in the hot seat awaiting his run. Let's throw it down to Bree, who's standing by with Tim Bringer.
Tim, there was so much pressure on you going into this run after your gold medal in Rotorua. How happy are you with that run?
I'm super stoked about this one because I did everything I wanted for the first run, so cannot be more hyped, and let's see.
We do have 3 of the big names back today. You were the last one to drop. Did you change your strategy watching everyone else go down?
No, I did like the first one I wanted to do, so I'm just super stoked about this, yeah.
What's the plan for run number 2?
Let's see.
Thanks, Tim. Best of luck.
Thank you.
It all depends on what the judges decide to do with this score. Reminder, score to beat is a 90.5 from David Godziek. Tough to say there was an asterisk on the win in New Zealand because it's never an easy task to win a Crankworx World Tour slopestyle event. But you got to think about those riders he had taken second to 5 times. They were Emil Johansson and they were David Godziek. They're here now. David Godziek posting that 90.5. Will Tim Bringer eclipse that score? The score coming in. What's it going to be for Tim Bringer? Will it beat the 90.5? 92.37. Tim Bringer into the hot seat.
I think you can take the asterisk off. 5 second places, breaking through.
Delete.
Breaking through a couple of months ago in Rotorua and standing strong here in Cairns.
Get out the whiteout. No more asterisk. He has beat David Godziek, but we still have another run, another opportunity to back Godziek into a corner and see if he can beat this 92.37 we just saw from Tim Bringer.
And if you're like me and you troll these riders, you know that there's more in the bag. And, you know, the conditions here are looking so good, so there's going to be more.
Well, Erik Fedko, after dropping that insane run to start our competition here today, bounced down to 5th place, still super respectable, coming back off of those injuries. We see Nikolai Rogatkin showing he loves the energy this Cairns crowd brings. He's taken the win here before. He's sitting in 4th place, so then chance more into podium contention with 3rd place. David Godziek, number 2. Tim Bringer with the score to beat, the 92.37. I will say the stage is set for both the men and women's field. 2nd run coming up after the break. Stick with us.
We all have our idea of what we want the sport to look like. Still have that childhood feeling every time I drop in.
We are ready down here.
Anytime?
It's go time, man.
It's gonna be insane.
The best feeling ever.
I'm ready to go.
Anytime. Now available on Red Bull TV.
They call him the Iron Giant.
There's nothing like it in the world.
Thousands of hard enduro riders travel to Erzberg to take him on.
The goal, the same as always, finish the race.
But only a handful will make it.
That was mega!
To the finish.
It's never easy to win.
Red Bull Erzberg Rodeo.
Ready?
Live on Red Bull TV.
Man, Alan, a lot to digest from that first run of competition. A bit of a roller coaster, a lot of great action. Some lows in the roller coaster as well, and Mill going down, but definitely a whole lot of drama for you slopestyle fans out there. And we got a poll for you, our 2nd poll of the day. We're curious how you think the Run 1 scores were. How does it sit with you? Answer 1 for you felt it was pretty fair. Answer 2 for it was pretty close overall. A couple things surprised you. 3 for Norbs was Rob, maybe a little bit of inside joke here. Let us know your thoughts on the scores for run number 1. That's what's fun about reading the comments after any slopestyle competition is everybody has an opinion on the rankings. But there's one thing that is not debatable, and that is this is probably the most competitive field we've ever seen for both the men and the women. We got riders like Chance Moore, who are really young to the circuit, super consistent, 2 5th places coming into this event, now sitting in podium contention. Anybody who's curious how he got so good, you gotta just check out his Instagram account where he's showing footage of his training compound. And we mentioned it a little bit earlier, just so reminiscent of some of the greats of slopestyles past. The Canadians, Brandon Semenuk, Brett Reeder, one of their strengths were bringing out the opposite tricks and the cleanliness in between features, almost reminiscent of Thomas Lemoyne as well, where we see sections where he's not pedaling in between features because he's so good at carrying speed. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with that training compound he has built back home in BC. For more on that, take a look at this.
I don't really have one I go to every single time, but I'm always rocking some 50 Cent.
We ain't scared of nothing.
Yeah, my favorite trick is the flat spin. It's one you can just kind of cruise for your first laps of the day. It's called a cork stab whip. I tried it in Rotorua, but couldn't successfully get it done, so we're hoping at one of these next 2 events to get it done.
I'm just a jungle cat on my habitat. Do away with rats, I wanna pull me back.
Probably be running excavators, own a dozer, flatten some fields and stuff.
You ain't scared of nothing. All you blasting or bluffing, attacking or talking.
You know, there's plenty of guys, even like Erik here, who's giving me some good influence.
We ain't scared of nothing.
Number one important is have fun with it, and then just do the tricks you personally enjoy and do all of them. And just push yourself as hard as you can and have as most fun as possible, because that's what it's all about.
Ooh, one thing I really picked up right there is when he was asked what his favorite or dream trick is, he said that cork stab whip. Oh my gosh, he's got another opportunity.
Yeah, it's nice to know that he's got that clean run in, he's got an opportunity, and I think we're gonna see it. Which jump he's gonna do it on? I like your call out, maybe that big one up top.
I was thinking he was, you know, a big contender for the podium, but we still have another run, and a lot of riders who had issues in run number 1. It's going to be exciting to see what happens. It's a long week. This is a long way to go, but, you know, so convenient. You show up to the Cairns International Airport, and you're right here close to the action. And I really love seeing the fact that these riders are able to show up a little bit early and get to enjoy some of the great activities that this region has to offer. Some of our riders went fishing. Take a look.
Come on!
Really fast!
Come on, Jake. Come
Keep going. It's a big one.
Go, Jake! Oh my God, someone help me!
It's a rock.
Feels like it.
It's actually my first time fishing, really. You're already losing your mind, aren't you? Such a nerd.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
How many you got, Hoopy? Just one? Perfect. I'm winning.
Yeah, Vic's the most excited. He's been catching stuff all day long, so.
I ain't called nothing.
That's a good fish right there.
That thing was small, but holy, it was strong. My first one!
Come on! Come on! Come on! Let's get it!
Caught a couple of sharks, which yeah, we didn't expect, and it was super fun. Yeah, had a lovely time.
Oh, that's probably the first time any of them have reeled in a hammerhead shark.
Man, that's
Only
scary.
in Australia. There's interesting critters everywhere you look out here. Great place to come hang out and see things that you can't see anywhere else in the world. We can kind of see them course side as well if you keep your eyes open. I've seen some incredible critters out there. And we have some beasts on course as well in the form of slopestyle competitors. We saw Alma Wiggberg come out roaring like a bear in run number 1, 90.5, saying, I want to put all the pressure on Patricia Druen, but we got Natasha Miller sitting there in second within striking distance. Run number 2 coming up.
Prepare your bike. Visualize the track. Keep your blood pumping. Every mistake is a new opportunity. Keep your grip loose for the wildest rides. Bike on Red Bull TV.
It's time for run number 2 for the women right now. We re-rack them reverse start order with our top score dropping last. That means Alma Wiggberg will drop 5th, meaning our first rider to drop will be the most competitive rider in the field. The rider has the biggest chance of knocking that hot seat out from under Alma Wiggberg. Patricia Druen crashing on the tail in run number 1, bringing a new trick to the women's field of competitors. She's been doing it in practice. We know she has it. Unfortunately, just coming up a little bit short on that dirt-to-dirt double. In the middle of the course, she has what it takes to beat that 90.5. That's currently her leading score from Alma Wiggberg. You gotta love these reverse re-rack start orders to see Patty Druen dropping first here. Really excited to see that she's healthy enough to drop here after this crash. Luckily, that's not one of the biggest jumps on the course, but she definitely got sent down to the bottom. We're gonna take a look back here. Missing the trick over the on-off feature, but still gapping the whole thing, which is for sure worth some points. Missing a variation out of the flip, maybe not coming in with enough speed, coming up short. Here's where it went wrong, Alan.
Yeah, as many positives there were, it looked like she was just a bit off, and we saw her come up a little short and hesitated putting that foot on, and it just bucked her over the bars.
So
it's like
Patty,
falling out of the sky.
For sure. Patty Druen brushing off the dust and taking advantage of this second opportunity to take the win out from under Alma Wiggberg. This is the story we've been waiting for here, to see these two riders, the only two. Here we go.
All right.
Patricia Druen dropping in.
Second opportunity at this course. Gets the suicide over, so a better start already. That rhythm is on point right now. Keeping her speed in, smooth flip, fully cleared that jump right there, so she's cleaned up the two things that she had already. Bar spin off, looking really smooth, and here it comes, Cam. What she got? Top no-hander right there, so she wants to get a solid run. Get from the top to the bottom, keeping her speed up there. Looked like maybe a toboggan that comes a little short. Exit it up, so she's trying to save speed. Bar spin to bar spin back right there. So not exactly maybe what she wanted, but a solid run. Known there's more events this year.
You see Patricia shake her head a little bit. You got to give her credit for getting back up after that crash in run number 1 and going for it here in run number 2. Not sure that's going to be enough to unseat Alma Wiggberg, who had a backflip bar spin, a truck driver. Look, a little bit of a smile there from Alma as she runs away from the camera.
She might have just told us too much.
A little bit of insight into the emotion she's feeling right now after watching that run from Patty.
That suicide over the on-off box, that's what she was looking for over the first one, just so casual and extended. And we saw in the first run, she actually came up a little bit short there. That was sort of signs of her rhythm being off. Not in this case. Watch these tires.
She wanted more. I think she wanted a backflip bar spin there as well, which is what we saw Alma do. You see her pinching the seat while upside down.
Yeah, mentally, it's so hard to recover from a missed trick. You just have it in your brain. You've thought about it. You've visualized it. You've practiced it in practice. You practiced it at home on your jumps. And when it doesn't go as planned, it's so hard just to let that fall off your shoulders and keep going as planned.
We talk about the big combos out of Alma Wiggberg, but also the filler tricks were really important as well, getting a little bit of something on every single feature and then taking advantage of the added airtime on the bigger features. I feel like Patricia needed a big rotation here, but we can't discredit the technicality of a bar spin to bar spin back. It's just insane how casual she is with that trick. It's super technical to be able to catch those bars and sling them back the other way. Well, score coming in for Patty Druen. She goes into second place. No big surprise there because these top two riders are on such a high level. But we've seen Robin Gooms training in the foam pit. Do you think she wants to take any of those huge tricks she's been attempting in the foam pit? Do you think any of those are ready for dirt yet?
I'm not gonna speculate, but I know she's gonna send it. That's absolutely for sure. I hope to see him. That's it.
Kathy Kyper's the next rider to drop. We saw her throw a bar spin on the final jump here.
Yeah, Kathy had a top to bottom. Was able to get a couple of tricks in, up and on. Back off, looking really smooth right there. This jump is huge. Riding around that berm and looking at it, you're looking straight up, and sometimes the lips are so tall, you actually can't even see the top of the lip as you're going up, and it's just all about timing. Comes up a little bit short right there, clearing the step down.
Oh, no!
Just, I would say, a little bit of case on that final step down.
It's a heavy slam there.
Similar situation to what we saw with Patricia Druen. When you come up short like that on these very stiff, no rear suspension stunt bikes, nothing to absorb it, and you just get bucked right over the bars. And these landings are sometimes 15 to 20 feet tall.
Kathy Kyper's taking a heavy hit there. Second to last feature of the course. Wow, she's up. Good to see her up, tough to see her go down.
Yeah, looking a little dazed right there. That step down, you're coming from so high in the air, so much momentum.
The courses are bigger, the crowds are bigger, and the consequences are bigger as we just
one
saw.
feature away from just kind of being able to cap off this weekend without incident. Good to see Kathy Kyper's up, though. All right, we're gonna get a look back at this. I don't even know if I want to see it. Alan was heavy.
Yeah, it was quite the nose manual. She almost rode it out. She cased the jump up above, comes up a little bit short, and watch, this is where you get that buck.
Almost rode out.
Just weight gets forward and wasn't able to stop it. Right there. Headbanger's ball.
Oh.
So close.
The nose manual. Teetering on the edge. It was either going to be a slide out or a heavy slam. Unfortunately, it was the latter. Well, we just received word Robin Coombs will not be taking her second run, so we have one more rider left to drop. We call her the queen of combos. It's Natasha Miller, the youngster, 18 years of age, out of Coquitlam, BC. A couple second places under her belt. One of them the first stop of this season in New Zealand. And then the other one came the last stop of last season at Joyride. Home turf for her there. That was a big moment. Natasha sitting in third right now. So I know one thing is for sure. If she pours it all out on the table, she does have what it takes to bump Patty Druen out of that second place position. It would be a tall task to knock Alma Wiggberg out. And I think Alma knows that as well. That's why we see that smile on her face at the top of the course. But curious where Natasha's head's at right now as we get a look at the flags. Looking pretty good. Calm winds.
If I had to guess where her head's at, it's at shredding, because that's exactly what she does.
And she'll be able to just kind of like a video game, just rack up the points, click, click, click on these technical features. She's got that composure when she's in the air where she can catch one trick and instantly start initiating another one. Doesn't necessarily need to be rotating to be able to rack up the points. Picking up a little bit now. She's may just be 18 years old, but she's smart enough to know that there's an advantage to watching those flags and waiting for the right moment to strike.
Yeah, they're starting this course up there in the rainforest. By the time they come out, there's a little bit of wind, so they have radios, kind of let them know what those conditions are, let them know what's coming down that course, what to expect.
Natasha sitting on a 76.5 score from run number one.
If you're wondering why she keeps grabbing dirt, she's riding with no gloves. So when you get sweaty hands and you have no gloves, you need the dirt for traction. Keep those hands on those handlebars.
Yeah, goggle fog and sweaty palms. Definitely some of the variables out here in far north Queensland in the beautiful rainforest and tropical climate.
We've seen it playing a toll here.
Well, this is what we saw in run number one. You said she was checking her stock. She might be picking the song, which might indicate she's getting close to being able to drop in. So we call her the queen of combinations. You see that gizmo underneath her stem, Alan. For viewers who aren't familiar with that, what does that enable her to do?
What that is a gyro. It splits the cable and it allows you to spin the bars or do tail whips as many times as you want and still be able to use the brakes. You never get tangled up.
Helps as well when you have so many bar spin combinations like she does. You don't have to count and plan and incorporate opposite bar spins to rewind. You can just slang in the same direction forever. You also see that cutout grip on her brake lever. That's also a nice little mod that we see some of the riders using. When you're a rider like Natasha and you throw so many bar spins, sometimes you actually end up cutting your thumb catching the bar spins, and so to throw that little grip over that sharp end of the brake lever just softens it up, makes it a little bit cozier area for you to return to after some of those big combos.
Hot bars.
She's got hot bars for sure.
You can't hold on to them. They're too hot.
They spin quick.
Around the world.
Fans here having a good day.
Natasha Miller showing a bit of
Well, we asked you earlier if you agreed with the judges. Not too many of you said you felt it was fair. So far, the majority of you said it's close overall, but a couple of surprises. And then 25% of you are in on the North was robbed inside joke from years ago, Rampage. And that's probably about what I expected the results to be.
Are we dating ourselves by saying that?
25% of the people are with us. .76.5 is the run one score for Natasha Miller. Waiting for the right opportunity to drop in for run number 2. So if we think about who she's eyeing up right now, she's eyeing up Patricia Druen and Alma Wiggberg. Let's go side by side and compare Natasha's first run to the winning, or the leading run right now, Alma Wiggberg. What do you see here?
Like we've been talking about out of Natasha, you see those hot bars. Bar spin to toboggan, tuck no-hander to toboggan, toboggan, 1 foot can, bar spin, suicide no-hander. You know, she's got a lot of technical moves with her hands, but then we look over at Alma and she's got some of those big moves. She's got those hot bar moves as well, but back foot bar spins. Huge truck drivers, things we haven't seen before. Suicide no-handers, lots of big moves.
The thing that stands out for me is right there, straight air. That tells me that 76.5 could have been much higher with just anything other than a straight air on that final jump. If you're gonna straight air any jump, the worst one to do it on is the one that gives the judges the final impression of the overall big picture of your run. You gotta cap it off with an exclamation point. So, if we're able to see more in the middle and something on the final jump from Natasha, she will improve her score, but will it be enough to move her up the rankings? Here we go. Natasha Miller out of Canada on course.
Bar spin up, toboggan down, as you call it, she gaps in real far, makes it a quick transition from up to down. Little tuck no-hander to toboggan right there, so looking pretty smooth so far. Here we are off the drop. Toboggan again off the drop, coming into this big double.
Nice!
Oh, we see a 360. We have not seen Natasha do a spin. So she's getting some of those big tricks. She's trying to move up the standings.
Oh, yes!
Okay, here she comes. Suicide no-hander, what she got? She knows she's not gonna do a straight air.
Yeah!
And a backflip. Oh, she jumps off at the last second.
Oh, Natasha going for it.
It looks like a tailbone.
Big impact on that behind out of Natasha Miller, but man, she was really stepping it up. I'm so stoked to see that, a 360 successfully pulled.
It makes sense now why she was waiting for the perfect moment to drop in. She surprised us there. We just figured she was gonna get more tech with the combos, but she threw 2 different rotations into that run. I really wish we would have been able to see her stomp that final jump.
I love to see the fight out of Natasha Miller. Let's hope she's okay.
That really could have shaken things up.
I don't think we'd seen her do any rotations at any Crankworks up until now.
When I saw her go for that 360, I believe, if I remember correctly, she was spinning toward her front foot, and it just made me feel what it was like to throw 360s when you first learned them, and under pressure on this stage right here, and to stomp it, that was so good to see. Just a little bit of an over-rotation out of that backflip on the final jump, definitely hitting the ground hard. Let's take a look back at this run, Alan.
Yeah, Natasha Miller's surprising us down a little lower, but up here looking really solid as well. Bar up, gapping out, so it's a quick transition to hop off, getting that seat in her hand, full toboggan. Gets a couple of pedals in. It's such a big jump right here. Gets a little tuck no-hander off, so maybe not full extension, gets the toboggan, but we knew she had plans down a little bit lower.
Yeah, that might even be her thinking about that 360. You know, she's a couple features ahead in her mind going, I'm going to push my limits right now. We did not see this coming right here. Now she does spin toward her back foot. A little bit of an over rotation. It was great to see her hold on.
Yeah, such a tough spot to over-rotate. We see her getting back on the pedals, regaining her momentum, able to keep it going down this hill. Bar spin to bar spin back.
That's the trick we saw Patty Druen finish her run with in run number 2. Oh, she had too much speed coming in here. She cranked the pedal, leaned back a little bit too hard, and at that point, instead of bailing off, it might have been the right call to grab that rear brake and try to ride this out, but she was pushing herself and in unfamiliar territory, you know? She hasn't been in that position on this big stage, over-rotating a backflip in front of a huge crowd. A little bit of nerves getting the best of her there.
Yeah, new feelings, you know, knowing you're that body awareness that we were talking about. That's a new trick for her out here, so just getting that comfort level up.
Well, as we're thinking about Natasha Miller right now, hoping she's okay after that backflip over rotation, we can confirm one thing here. Alma Wiggberg, in her first run, posted a score high enough to win this competition. Alma Wiggberg with her 3rd Crankworx Slopestyle gold medal, and not phoning it in by any stretch of the imagination, chucking that 360 bar spin, we call it the truck driver, on the final jump. Congratulations to Alma Wiggberg. She'll be able to take this as a victory lap.
Yeah, Alma Wiggberg, her streak stays alive. She did not win in Rotorua, but wasn't there. So that's 3 in a row for her and her competing.
Well, tough to see Natasha Miller leaving the venue the way she is right now. But time to celebrate a job well done here today for Sweden's Alma Wiggberg.
Now, as a rider, do you take the glory run or do you use this opportunity? This is her first event. She's playing catch up a little bit. She's taking the win. But you know the difference between trying a trick for the first time in an actual contest run versus taking it in a victory run? It's a big difference. I would take advantage of here. Let's see what she's got.
It's kind of similar to being in the middle of a really good session with your friends and the energy's high and you got people watching and you know it's going to make an impact. Yeah, good question. Are we going to see her take advantage of the extra adrenaline and try something, or will she just kind of give us a nice little show of style? She's got the capability of doing both, that's for sure. Yeah, interesting, Alan. That's what you're thinking may be the case, because you typically don't see riders waiting for a good window to drop in for a victory lap where you weren't going to try something, but could just be keeping it smart as well. Last thing you want to do is mess up a straight air and a crosswind when you've already won the competition.
Yeah, after a 4-year battle to get that shoulder strong again, I'm sure there's not any extra risks being taken, but opportunity strikes sometimes and you just can't not. See her twirling those goggles, keeping the fog off of them.
We've answered a question here, and the question was, what would happen if you put Alma Wiggberg and Patricia Druen on a World Tour event at the same time? 2 riders who have won out here on the World Tour. Alma Wiggberg rising to the surface.
I don't think she's planning on taking a victory run, dude. You see her winding up? She's got something in her mind. I'm stoked.
She said in her interview with Bree as well that she had more for run number 2 if she had to do it. If slopestyle riders were in a fish tank, that's what we had on the split screen there. She kind of seems like she wants to go for something. I think you're right, Alan.
Yeah, you could see her kind of visualizing leaning into something.
Rider ready to drop.
You train so hard.
I know what I see.
Yeah, you think you know?
I mean, I don't want to call anybody out, but I just saw a 360 bar to bar is what I just saw.
I like it.
Here she goes.
Let's see. The victory lap here for Alma Wiggberg.
Alma Wiggberg taking her 3rd victory out here, styling it out, not having to push the limits, enjoying this run, suicide down, going long right there. That might have been that move. That moment she was going to try to do it, but went a little bit long right here to the bottom. 2 more jumps. Trucks the big Showtime booter at the end. I'm gonna say there was a second one in the back of her mind, but the season's not over. She's gonna bring that to Whistler. See if she can defend her Joyride title.
Alma Wiggberg setting the bar high for that final stop coming up in Whistler in August. Alma Wiggberg adding her 3rd gold medal to her trophy case. Congratulations to Alma.
All she does is win when she comes to these Crankworks events. Looking so good.
3 rotating tricks, the back flip bar spin, the 360, and then the truck driver. You know she has more in the tank. Can't wait to see her at Joyride again coming up in August, and also can't wait to hear this interview you're setting up for us. Brie, let's hear it.
Joyride, this one has got to feel special.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. I had another surgery, so it's been a hectic off-season. So very happy to just make a run, and it feels good.
You've had 4 years of shoulder injuries. Tell us about the comeback to get back to this point.
It's almost like I'm getting used to not having a proper off-season, but I hope this one was the last that was needed.
We saw you visualizing at the top of the track. It looks like you were going for something more. Can you tell us what might be in store for Red Bull Joyride?
I have a few things I've been working on, and I want to get it done in competition, but it's always difficult to get everything sorted. I don't know.
Thanks, Alma. Enjoy the celebrations. You're at 2025 Cairns Slopestyle gold medalist.
What she has is the ability to pull the trigger under pressure. She demonstrated that in run number 1 here. It was good enough to win the competition. And we're sitting here in just May.
She didn't want to confirm what was in her mind.
No.
But there's no secrets. This is 2025. Go on her Instagram. She's got more in the tank.
Well, we're only in May, and the next stop is in August, so that's plenty of time for the rest of this field to go hit the training compounds and try to up their game to the level where Alma Wiggberg's at right now. 90.5, taking the win there, her 3rd gold medal on the World Tour.
Consolation, unfortunately, for Natasha going down. She did end up in 3rd place there, so on the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Best wishes going out to Natasha Miller, who went down swinging there in her 2nd run. All right, let's take a look at this run we saw from the men. Tim Bringer with all the pressure, being the winner of stop number 1, the final rider to drop here. Knowing that David Godziek is on fire, he was in the hot seat, and then Tim Bringer did this, Alan.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here shaking my head watching him come down. There's not a jump skipped in this highlight reel because every jump that he tricked on the way down was a highlight. So strong, so commanding. He was ready for the pressure. He's been waiting for this moment from 5 second places, gets that first win, and he's defending it so far here today.
He has a formula, and that formula has proven to be effective. It's really impressive the way he's able to look at this course, which obviously has a completely different layout to New Zealand, but really just find the places and the obstacles to put those tricks that play toward his favor at stop number 1. So 92.37, the score to beat right now. As we welcome rider number 1 for run number 2, Jake Atkinson. You can see by the war battle marks on his t-shirt, he's been through some stuff in run number 1. Heavy slam on the final jump on that twister. Let's see if he can fix it up here and replace his divots in run number 2.
Bar spin up to Manuel, dropped that front end a little bit, but was able to get another bar spin out. So not what he wanted, but still conserving it, getting some tricks off. Huge cash roll right there. He's definitely bringing back a souvenir from this course on that t-shirt. Truck driver off the drop. 360 tail whip, 2 bar spins. So technical to grab that bike with your feet and then throw the bars. Backflip, opposite tail whip right there.
Will he go for it again?
Regular double tail whip. And he winds up for the cash roll, comes up short. muscle it out. How did he ride away from that final trick?
Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's terrible.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Can't even believe he got up and was able to take his second run after that run 1 crash.
There was some wizardry that happened to pull that last jump off. Just went a little bit off rhythm right there, didn't go to plan. He manualed all the way to that bar spin in that first run, going so high.
Amplitude, jeez.
Just pops an extra 4 to 5 feet off that jump than the other competitors.
He called this terrible.
Yeah, he's tripping. 360 bar spin off the drop. And then that combo so difficult to catch the bike with your feet, then pinch the seat and get the bar spin off before you land.
This is the best terrible run I've ever seen.
Another absolutely terrible backflip, opposite tail whip.
And here we go. Terribly executed, perfect double tail whip.
And this right here, this was impressive. Didn't quite have the speed, was able to muscle it out, under-rotated the flip and the spin and the jump, but was able to just hold on and muscle it to the finish.
Yeah, how was he able to squeak that out? And just as a point of reference, that's 1 360 less than the trick he went down on in run number 1 on that same jump. So that's why he's categorizing it as terrible. But
my shoes.
for anybody else in the world, that's an insane run.
He's about to get robbed down there in the finish corral.
Well, we know that he's going to improve because he had a crash in run number 1.
I think he's having fun, Cam.
I love to see it.
Oh, there comes the shoes. Oh, maybe it's going to be a Red Bull shoey. Up. Up. This is shoey number 1. It's the first one we've seen since it being in Australia.
Jake is stoked to stomp a run. Oh, to be young, how do you hit the ground that hard and then just pop up laughing and drop another banger run?
Shoes are ruined.
Watch, your shoes are going to fly away. Waiting for the score for Jake Atkinson. There it is, a 73.5, slotting him into 7th position as we take a peek at our next rider at the top of the course. An issue in run number 1 on the second to last feature, slipping pedal on a double tail up. Ben Thompson, podium from the first stop in New Zealand. I was about to say how he's making everything look too easy, and then this happened to Alan. Double tail up.
Yeah, double tail up, slipping the foot off right there, losing all of his speed, just having to shut it down. He's healthy, he's got a plan, he's ready to go.
We know he is a podium rider. He proved that. Stop number 1. And with how casual he was on all the features except for that second to last one in run number 1, we know that he was sizing up for a big exclamation point at the end of that run. Can he make it to the final feature here? Another opportunity for Ben Thompson, dropping in.
Ben Thompson living the dream out here in Cairns. Let's see what he's got. There's that front flip tuck no-hander. Such a slow rotation as he flies by the drone. Oh, man, he comes in so late on the double downside. After the bar spin 360, front flip dives off. Gets a late pedal in there. 360 tail whip. Opposite 360. He does have a backwards tail whip. Double trunk this time. This is where we saw some trouble. Double tail whip.
There we go.
Landing clean, getting the speed up. And the windshield wiper. 360 tail whip to downside tail whip.
We knew he had that trick in his bag, and with all the pressure on, in run number 2, he caps off that run with it.
Ben Thompson sticking to his guns. Not laying it up one bit, throwing everything he had planned out. Look at the eye of the tiger right there. Who's he pointing at? I'm scared.
He looks like Nikolai right now.
Look at the extension on the front flip tuck no-hander.
Thomas Stewart knew he had it.
Yeah, nothing but fire. Absolutely right.
Thomas Stewart's been following Ben's Instagram, obviously, because he's been posting training clips of him spotlessly stomping these big combos.
360 bar spin to double downside tail whip. That front flip, man, he was almost late. You could see his front tire almost come off the edge before he popped. 360 double tail whip, or sorry, opposite 360 tail whip right there. He does have a backwards tail whip. Likes to kick with that front foot. Had a triple bar spin on that the first run, but this is where things improve. Got the double tail whip, grabbed the pedals, locked in. Eye of the tiger right here into this final jump.
Oh, man.
The windshield wiper.
Obviously, just shy of spotless here, riding out the right foot, kind of not connecting perfectly to the pedal. That will definitely play a factor. Not touching the ground. All these things have an impact on the amount of deduction the judges will give to him. But you gotta love the determination, putting all the pressure on run number 2 and then still going for that trick that he's been working on. Not playing it safe.
Yeah.
Stomping that 360 windshield wiper.
Shout out to James Foster, BMXer, who pioneered that trick.
It's that whole, an object in motion tends to stay in motion type of thing. This is the trick that threatens that theory the most. Catching the tail up and chucking it back the other direction.
Yeah, usually you're doing double tail whips the same direction and the momentum increases the whole way around, but he has to stop it with his arms and his legs and then kick it back the other way.
So, Ben Thompson, after a podium position, 3rd place at the first stop in New Zealand, he's going to need to better an 88.37 to get back onto the podium here today in Cairns. And the rider who is currently sitting in 3rd place is Chance Moore, the spotless run.
These top 3 riders are watching closely, running through their mental Rolodexes, trying to think, if I'm gonna have to bump it up, what trick am I gonna do it? Where am I gonna do it? Will the win be perfect? So much goes into every run these riders take.
But think about the runs that are currently sitting in 4th and 5th. That run from Nikolai Rogatkin that scored an 85.5. The run from Fedko that kicked off our event in run number 1, 84.75. What will the score be for Ben Thompson here? Run number 2, an 82, puts him into 7th place, right ahead of the run we just saw from Jake Atkinson. Next rider to drop is going to be Lucas Huppert. He has a bronze medal from Innsbruck 2023. We saw him go down on the last jump in run number 1.
Had an absolutely insane run coming into this final jump right here. He was gonna cap it off with a front flip double bar spin, but unfortunately didn't quite get the hand locked on and went down. He's ready.
That clip does not tell the full story. It's insane he even went for that trick. He didn't have enough speed based on a less than ideal landing on the previous feature. He's got those front flip double bar spins all day if he comes into the lip with the right amount of speed. He twisted the second feature on the course. He's probably gonna do that again here.
He's keeping his eyes on the windsock here. He's gonna wait for it to be absolutely perfect. He knows this is his last chance to lay it all down and move himself up to standings and lock in a top to bottom run.
When you are a rider like Lucas Huppert, you've been on the podium, there's no such thing as phoning it in and thinking about points. You've tasted that blood, you know what that glory feels like, to get that bottle of champagne and spray it on your friends. He's gonna wait for that perfect moment where the wind lulls out, and he's got the most optimal conditions to drop this second and final run. Lucas Huppert definitely rounding out his training program this off-season, deciding to pay a little bit more attention to things off the bike. Get in the gym, get your body strong. You've seen it paying off in practice. He's looking stronger than ever. Here we are, right at the halfway point in our 2025 Crankworx World Tour. It's been all about the Southern Hemisphere so far. Stop number 1 in New Zealand, stop number here, far north Queensland, Cairns, Australia. And in August, we'll be back to the birthplace of the Crankworx World Tour, Whistler, BC. They have already started constructing the Joyride course. I've been following that online.
Always a masterpiece up there in the boneyard.
The score to beat a 92.37 from Tim Bringer. To crack into podium contention, he's going to need better than the 88.37. Hoopy has what it takes. It looks like he's ready to drop.
The wind has stopped. It is completely still, and Hoopy is ready to create his own windstorm right here.
He needs to get this huge twister.
Tail whip up, 360 bar spin out.
There we go, there it is. Oh yeah!
Quartz 1080. Absolutely perfect. One that scares him every time right there. The 360 tail whip off the flat drop. Opposite tail whip right there, so slow.
Ooh, getting speed.
Big cash roll coming into the step down. Cork 720, this is where we saw trouble.
Come on, Hoopy, he's got speed.
And he pulls it, the front flip, bar to bar.
Stops the front flip double bar spin that took him out in run number 1. Lucas Huppert with a top to bottom banger run.
Well, it's been a while.
He said it's been a while. He had some troubles in Rotorua, but cleaning that all up here, that's all behind him. So clean and smooth. Starting it off with some combos. Up top, straight on the pedals into the biggest jump on the course. Look at how much height he got on that twister.
Well, thinking back to New Zealand, he threw away his run with the twister on the last jump, so he knew he needed to get that. Nobody else is doing this, the 360 tail whip off the flat drop.
So hard to generate that rotation for the 360 tail whip off of a flat drop. The rotation on a lip really spins that rotation off, and he's just pulling it out of thin air.
You know what, I'm sure it was so much of a flashback in run number 1 here when he crashed on the final jump, because that's what took him out in his run in Rotorua.
Such a clean cash roll right there. So much amplitude and height.
This is huge.
On that step down, totally blind. Just yanks it back for a cork 7. And then finishes it up with that front flip double bar spin.
Hoopy looking so locked in, Bree. How's he feeling after stomping that second run?
Thanks, guys. Hoopy, you stomped that run top to bottom. How good did it feel?
Oh, I mean, I was super relieved. It's super windy. I could almost cry when I saw Emil go down, and it's been a great week, tough event. I didn't do my perfect run, but I did a run, and yeah, I'm stoked.
You've said that you're not much of an exercise guy, but you have been working with a personal trainer in the off-season. What have you been doing?
I mean, you know, all the freestyle life sometimes catches up, so I've been more in the gym and like just riding bikes and my e-bike and everything, and I'm really enjoying it. And even though it looks like I have a lot of pressure on myself, I do, but I try to have less pressure myself and just enjoy, and like, yeah. I mean, it's awesome, yeah.
What are your expectations for today?
I mean, I don't know what the score will be, but probably like around 5th, I don't know, yeah. It was a few mistakes, but whatever.
Thanks, Hoopy. Well done.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I like what he says right there. You know, that freestyle life can kind of catch up to you sometimes.
I got news for you, Hoopy. The freestyle life stays the same. You're just getting older, pal.
No, it shows, though, the fact that he's been taking the off-bike training a little bit. I think it's awesome, too. It's so funny to hear him go, I've been spending a little bit more time on the trail bike, the e-bike, of course. No, you can tell that his body's stronger, though. He's more locked in, and that really plays a part when there's no margin for error on those tricks that he's trying.
Yeah, nice to see him able to come out and clean up that first run crash. Walk out of Cairns with a solid run. Momentum, he's got something he can build on now.
If you're doing tricks like that, you better have a strong core. Oh, who do we have next here? Liam Baylis. Bronze medal from the Christchurch Summer Series. That's where he earned the points to be on the start list at stop number 1 of the World Tour in New Zealand 2 months ago. He took 9th place there. And I definitely think that 9th place does not represent him showing his full potential. And run number 1 definitely didn't go his way. That was when the rain started falling from the sky, not wearing goggles. Visibility was the variable there for run number 1.
Yeah, just hanging tough from top to bottom right there. Good little opportunity for him though, you know, kind of a throwaway run. No real expectation to really pull anything. You're not gonna get to the bottom and be like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. You're like, oh, I survived. So something to build on and carry up here. That's something to build on right there.
For sure. And wouldn't be surprised if I see him throw a huge trick on that second feature of the course where we just saw a straight 360 in run number 1. I'm looking at the sky right now, and I think we're gonna have far more optimal conditions for Liam Baylis's second run. Let's see if he can show what he's been working on with the pressure on here. So we see a lot of you asking in the chat for a little bit of an update on the status and the condition of Emil Johansson. He is conscious, which is great to hear. We obviously saw him hit the ground hard, impact with his head. He is undergoing evaluation, but we can confirm that he's conscious, which is also a great sign. And we'll continue to update you when we get more word on his status. Tough to see him go down. Tough on the rest of the field as well, to be up there at the top of the course and watch the goat go down so hard. To be able to shrug that off and motivate to execute what you've been working toward this whole week of practice.
We've seen him overcome a big KO from Cairns before.
Oh yeah.
Come back for the win.
He's definitely done it all. He's been the guy that has been so dominant that people are tired of seeing him win. He's been the guy that just can't seem to get out from under the rain cloud of injury. And each and every time we see him do the hard work and come back stronger than he was before. Definitely wishing the best for Emil Johansson as we await the second run from the Canadian Liam Baylis.
Wind's no good, course.
All eyes on that second feature right now, if you ask me, for Liam.
Just getting a solid start to this run. No rain in his eyes, no wind to worry about. That's going to be a big difference.
Yeah, this is going to be a whole different course here for Liam Baylis compared to run number 1.
Gets a nice big truck driver over the on-off box.
Here we go. Yes!
Oh, he gets it. He pulls that windshield wiper. How did he muscle that? Oh, flip bar spin off the flat drop. Coming in cork 7. Oh, comes in a little bit nosedive and under-rotated. When you cork out that 7, your body gets so far in front of the rotation that your bike's making, you don't have the time to unwind and get that bike pointed in the right direction. That is exactly what will happen. Unfortunately going down, but he does look okay. Riders staying loose up top. So much left.
They're just hamming it up. I love like the nervous laughter and that nervous energy up there of just doing anything other than going into locked in focus mode before you have to. So tons of clean practice runs earlier this week for Liam Baylis, and unfortunately just issues in both runs here with the pressure on. This is the trick we were looking forward to from him. On the biggest jump of the course, the 360 windshield wiper rolls out. I thought he was gonna throw that one away. But we know the judges like this flat drop backflip bar spin. Our second place run from Godziek contained that trick. Oh,
looked like right there. Yeah, he just missed the pop. His front tire was just off the lip when he was wound up and needed that pop.
pretty mellow lip for that trick as well.
Yeah, definitely. You got to snap at the right time in order to get that spin going. Once you're in the air, there's nowhere to get that momentum from.
Look at these guys. What do we do with our hands? We're so nervous. This is going to be so fun, but so scary. All right, Paul Couderc, sitting in 6th place right now. He scored an 83. Just triumphant celebration in the finish corral after run number 1, going so deep on that opposite cork 720. Great variety like we come to expect from Paul Couderc. We saw him front flip that flat drop. We saw him the opposite cork 7 at the bottom, complemented by the reg 720 in the middle.
Flux trail crew on the job. Nothing but perfection for every one of these riders.
Yeah, you know it's a Flux build when you see every single piece of exposed dirt, even the sides and backs of the landings is slap packed.
Looking here at Paul's first run, there's that front flip off the drop, over-rotating, able to recover.
You gotta be strong to over-rotate a front flip off a flat drop and not just crumple into the handlebars.
You gotta be strong to hold on to the bars after this. Look, bam! Comes down out of the stratosphere on that opposite cork 720.
Somebody's been doing their push-ups and squats. Hey guys.
I love that when you get through a moment and you're like, every single push-up I've ever done in my life just paid off. One less and it might have turned out different.
Remy Morton replacing the divots here left on the course from that crash we just saw from Liam Baylis. Getting everything nice and pretty.
Wind still good?
Paul Couderc, the French rider who has a silver medal from Red Bull Joyride 2023. Started off the season strong with a 4th in New Zealand 2 months ago.
Looks like he's maybe on a little bit of a wind hold. Here, the anticipation building for him.
The nice thing is, this wind is kind of coming in waves, you know, with little lulls in between, and it is giving these riders an opportunity to wait out in a nice little window. Hi, we're waving back. You can't see us. Everybody at home, wave back. I think what they were doing is they were waving in the opposite direction of the wind, trying to counterbalance it. It's been a pretty action-packed past couple of days. We had 2 broadcasts yesterday. We had Full Tilt in the middle of the day, Pump Track under the lights. Right now we're in the midst of the action of Crankworks Cairns Slopestyle, but we won't be done. We've got dual slalom coming up later today, 4:00 p.m. local time. Check your conversions to figure out what time that is in your time zone. Don't miss the action. All the points up for grabs for your front runners in the King and Queen of Crankworks overall standings. Yeah, that's right, David. I hear you, my man.
A whirlwind, some might say, the schedule. Just non-stop action out here.
Especially for those riders who are gunning for the King and Queen titles. They're competing in multiple disciplines, which require multiple bike setups, trying to balance those practice schedules. These slopestyle riders, these are the specialists of the bunch. They focus on one event, which consists of 2 runs. Best run counts. Paul Couderc with an opportunity to improve on his run 1 score, which is an 83. Here we go, Paul Couderc dropping in.
Paul Couderc with that huge backflip tail whip,
so
just
clean,
floating over the on-off box like it's not even there. Oh, and he pulls that double backflip around, such a slow rotation off the lip. I thought that was it.
Oh, come on.
Gets the front flip way smoother this time. There's the 720. Okay, so he's looking a little better here. Let's see what he's got. Will he step it up? Backflip opposite tail whip, looking clean. Backflip bar spin. What's he gonna do?
Here we go, Paul!
Yes! Corked opposite 720, so cleans it up just a little bit.
Oh man,
back-to-back pulled top to bottoms.
I was biting my fingernails there. There were a couple moments where I thought he was throwing it away.
Yeah, that double backflip rotation was so slow.
So much determination. When you see him straight air that long and low leading into the final straightaway, you're like, this guy means business. Here we go, we see him again. Backflip tail up, catching the pedals early, almost not having enough speed for this second feature here. I was biting my nails here as well. Come on, squeak around that double flip.
Kicks his foot over the crossbar, gets the can-can in, whips his head back, spots the landing, absolutely perfect.
And almost an overcorrection here. We saw him over-rotate the front flip and run number one off the flat drop, and almost snapping a little less than ideal there, but he squeezes it around.
720-degree rotation, his regular direction right there, and this is where things start mixing up. Backflip, opposite tail whip. Look how corked out he is when he comes in.
Yeah, front tire touchdown first, under rotate. When you watch his eyes just look up, even though his body is facing the wrong way, his eyes are determined enough to will his body straight and forward.
And then finishing out with an opposite rotation, corked out 720.
And he is getting so clean with those opposite cork sevens. It's so irregular to see. And he's kind of the only rider we see it from where their regular 720 is upright and their opposite is cork. His opposite towards his front pedal, spinning towards that front pedal as a right foot forward rider. But basically, you know, spinning both directions, one of them is going to be far more difficult than the other because it's your unnatural direction to spin. The judges love dexterity, and they reward it handsomely on that judge's score sheet. So Paul Couderc sitting on an 83. Can he move up the rankings? 87.37. Paul Couderc improves his score.
Bumps up 2 spots from 6th to 4th place. Paul Couderc's got to be stoked on that.
Consistency, man. He was 4th place finisher in stop number 1 in New Zealand. Love to see it. Yes. It's easy to be a Paul Couderc fan. Well, here's a rider who has plenty of fans scattered across the world, and it's in large part due to his unique style. Over the years, he's been able to add the banger tricks and somehow still sprinkle that trademark Erik Fedko style on them. He was the first rider we saw drop in run number 1. He posted an 84.75 with some of the stylish tricks still we've seen so far. We've been asking you all day what your opinion is from the scoring from run number 1. A lot of you voting number 2, where you think there's a couple spots where riders could have been moved up. He's such a fan favorite. I got to think some of those riders want to see Erik Fedko in that podium contention. He just got bumped down to 6th.
Yeah, when you're on a comeback like Erik Fedko is, you got a list of boxes to check. He's done that. He's got it top to bottom now. He's going to send it right there. Huge 360 tail up over. It looked like maybe he wanted it more. Big downside tail whip, 360. So yeah, he's gonna bank on that first run. I think he wanted a bar spin after that through whip over the on-off.
For sure. First 2 features missing the variations that he stomped spotlessly in run number 1. He knows it. It's just a simple mathematic calculation at this point. He's not going to improve that score, so this one's for the crowd. Oh, come on.
Oh my God. Sometimes to watch him just have fun hurts a little bit.
When a double backflip on the final feature is what you do when you've already given up on your run, you're on another level. A level he was on before that big femur injury, and great to see him returning to form now in 2025.
Yeah, another box checked right there. He's leaving Cairns completely healthy, ready to battle when we get to Whistler.
So in run number 1, we saw him do this 360 tail, but he caught early and chucked the bars. He was obviously looking for that here. He said, all right, I can deal with that. I'll make up for it on the rest of the course. I'll get this 360 downside tail up to seat grab Indian air, but when that hand didn't come off and go for the seat, he knew time to just do this one for the fans. Any other year though, those tricks would have, you know, been good enough. You'd continue the run, but just goes to show the level everybody's on now.
Watch this. 1, 2, so slow, so controlled. Knows exactly where he is the entire time.
You see how straight his legs were off of the lip. Basically, doing what you would do to initiate a flat drop backflip, but doing it off of an incredibly tall kicker.
Throws in a little steez on the rollout.
Yeah, a double backflip can look like a huck, or it can look like a style move, depending on who's doing it.
Oh, laces are coming off. What's going to happen? Oh, he's giving his shoes out. Okay, I thought it might be another shoey.
He's grounding. Is that what he's doing? Please, nobody ask for his socks. Ooh. This Cairns, Australia crowd loves themselves a little Nikolai Rogatkin. He has taken the win here before. And you said it, Alan, I love that quote, is when Nikolai wins, everybody wins. So easy to get behind him because he gets behind all of his competitors, and you see it in his celebration when he stomps a run. This guy loves this sport so much. A former Triple Crown winner, the first to ever do it, show that it's possible. He finished up last season with 2 big wins on the Gold Series. Some wins he needed to come back on the tour after that injury he had here a couple years ago. He's fully back in form, currently sitting in 5th place here. Run number 2 for Nikolai Rogatkin underway.
Starting it out huge with a perfect catch roll. Coming into this big booter. Right into the tail of catch roll. So much extension. His body was so far away from his bike. Tail whip off of that flat drop. Big corked out 720. Keeping his speed up. You know he's got some big bangers right there. No. There's the twister. What would normally be a setup jump. Back foot bar to bar. Come on, Nikolai, keep it together with the triple tail whip. Such an insane run.
Nikolai Rogatkin.
Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years. Coming off of a couple of rough events, starting last year in Whistler in the Joyride event.
So much work in the off-season, building a training compound in California to escape the Boston winters. So much work, and he kind of threw away his run in New Zealand, makes up for it here. Look at him improve upon run 1.
Yeah, so huge with the catch roll tail whip. I was talking about the extension of his body. It was so far away from his bike when he started, but it just looked like it was, it was on purpose. That was what he was planning the whole time.
This is textbook slopestyle competition strategy out here. Stomp an insane first run, but have something in your back pocket. This is a veteran out here. This is how it's done.
Yeah, this right here, the time, like at the point of the run where he's doing this twister, it absolutely blows me away that this is sort of a setup for the bottom. Backflip bar, grabs, throws another bar in there.
Never count this guy out. And to end with the triple whip is so incredibly daring.
1, 2, 3, gets his feet straight back on the pedals as the bike comes down and makes contact with the ground.
I mean, it was a spotless run, and it was an improved run from his first run that gave him an 85.5. To crack into the podium, he needs better than an 88.37. Man, this is really getting interesting out here in Cairns. Smile says it all. Oh my gosh. There's few things I like more than the vibe of Nikolai Rogatkin in the finish corral, so let's send it down to Bree.
Nikolai, that was such an insane run. That's got to feel good after a tough week.
Oh, this week has been insanely tough for me. I was already pretty satisfied with the first run just to get one down. I didn't think I would even ride this contest when I arrived. And I decided to try to change it up because we have so little energy at the end of this course. So I was like, I got to do a full strength trick, triple tail whip. Hopefully the judges reward that strength at the end of the run. So I'm fired up right now. These young fans are fired up right now. Let's go! Good luck!
I like the strategy and then also the campaign to support it. All right, the score coming in for Nikolai Rogatkin's second run. Will he improve? He goes up a point. And look at that, sitting in 5th place, Nikolai Rogatkin. Just 1 point better there from the judges.
So that means Chance Moore has locked his place on the podium. Will he take advantage of this situation and try to bump up even more?
No, Dumas, I agree. It is great to see Nikolai get his groove back. Yeah, we had that crash from him a couple years ago here. And you know what? It's a long road back. Great to see that he did it. And then you talk about the career trajectory of this guy right now. He's on top of the world. He has the top score right now, 92.37, but we still have a couple riders left to go who have Tim Bringer in their sights. The next one we will see is the youngster out of BC, Chance Moore. He's got 2 5th places. He's just locked up a guaranteed podium here. With only 2 riders left to go, we're both ahead of him. The worst he will finish is 3rd place. That's monumental already for this youngster out here. What a statistic. A 5th, a 5th, and at least a 3rd here. What a way to break onto the scene.
Yeah, man. I'm super impressed with Chance's riding. Just looking so good, like he's been here for years. I expect to see some fire out of him right here. I don't think he's gonna let this opportunity pass.
Yeah, he's not celebrating yet. He's eyeing up the next couple spots on that podium. Nope, he is gonna be happy with 3rd place here. And give the crowd a little something to enjoy as he soaks up this bronze medal. Run 1 score, 88.37. He's gonna sit on that.
It's so crazy how much perspective it gives these jumps when he's just doing those single rotations. The size and the speed that these riders are going. Impressive.
That's just a chill trick for you. You finish off with a front flip tuck no-hander. Congratulations to Chance Moore getting his first Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour podium.
I know, let's go. Come on.
Oh boy. 2 riders left to go. Let's have some fun with this. Let's go side by side. Let's compare the trick choices in run number 1 between David Godziek, currently sitting in the 2nd spot, and Tim Bringer, the winner of stop number 1, who's currently leading the charge here at stop number 2 in Cairns. Those are some action-packed runs, Alan.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start right there. I mean, so much technicality, so much diversity in these runs between these 2 riders. The score only less than 2.5 points off. I know that both of these riders have what it takes to step it up and get a higher score. But can Godziek do it right now under pressure? We've seen him do it here. Can he bring it back?
I mean, it's a lot to digest looking at the names of those tricks, but I'll also give you another little way to quantify it. There is just 1.87 points separating these 2 riders right now from their run 1 scores. And here we go side by side on the final straightaway, Alan.
Yeah, cash roll to X up, cash roll tail whip there. So a bigger trick maybe out of Godziek at the bottom, but remember, we did see a tuck no-handed double backflip over the on-off box. What?
That's the one I was gonna bring up as well. We see a lot of riders doing big tricks, gapping over that whole feature, but I gotta think that double backflip no-hander from Bringer is the biggest one we've ever seen on that start feature. Similar tricks on the flat drop as well, though. The backflip bar spin for David Godziek and the backflip tuck no-hander for Bringer. I mean, we just did the math. 1.87 is about as close as it gets in terms of points differentials. Here we go. David Godziek looks ready to capitalize on this opportunity. We've seen him in this position before. Here we go. Woo. He needs to beat a 92.37 to take the win, or put the pressure on Tim Bringer to answer back.
Truck driver up, opposite tail whip down, straight back on the pedals, getting the speed. What's he got? Big no-handed twister, comes around even cleaner than the first run. Bar spin up, getting a little extra points right there. Backflip bar spin off the flat drop. The sun is out. Let's hope these shadows don't bother him. Front flip bar spin to tuck no-hander. Now he's upped it. That tuck no-hander came out super clean. triple 360 truck to Tuck-No-Hander. What's he got?
Oh, man. He was improving the run. It looked like he almost wanted to catch that cashy whip and maybe chuck a one-footed can. Is that what was going on?
A one-footed can or a bar spin, I'm not sure. It could have been anything, but unfortunately, the tire not holding up.
Well, David Godziek was willing to do everything within his power to knock Tim Bringer out of that top spot, but here we go. Tim Bringer still in contention for the 2025 Triple Crown.
David Godziek making his return to the Crankworx World Tour, finishing with a 2nd place. Let's see if we can maybe identify what he was going for. He was definitely looking to step up that tail whip cash roll on that final set. What do you see here, Cam?
Let's see, man. I'm gonna get as close to this monitor as I can possibly get. Lunges forward, cashy, tail up, catches.
That foot did come off. Was it on purpose?
Either he just had a hard time catching the pedals or he was going for something else, right? It really looked like he was setting up for another variation. Tough to say without asking him directly.
Yeah, that foot extended, and that was enough to slow down his rotation just a little bit.
You see that little bit of a stutter within the arms, maybe going for an X up there.
One-footed X up? I don't know. Could be anything, right?
Get on. You know, I love to see that right there. You know what? That means that Tim Bringer just takes the win, but he's like, wow.
He's the
feeling
guy
for
right
his
now.
buddy, yeah.
There's no questions, there's no asterisk. He is the guy right now. 2-time winner, the Crankworx World Tour Slopestyle events.
He's like, okay, well, this is pressure like I've never felt coming into Whistler with the possibility of winning the Triple Crown on the line.
It's so hard to be Tim Bringer right now. You have so much feeling inside of you right now, and they're just telling you, just hold, just hold. And you just want to drop in, be able to get down to the bottom and soak this up. You know that the rest of the competitors are going to receive him with wide open arms.
Yeah, he's just in disbelief. He's like, how did this happen again? Well, hard work and determination and climbing the ladder, putting your time in with 5 second places, and now 2 gold medals.
That's 2 out of 3. One more box to check.
We've seen this
but
story
the biggest
play out.
box of them all, the Joyride.
He was so close to winning Joyride last year as well. Thrown away in his 2nd run when he was backed into a corner.
This is where we get to see how comfortable Tim Bringer is. What's he got? Still dropping in from the high spot.
Yeah.
Big Tuck-No-Hander backflip. This is chilling, people. This is victory.
The muscle man, Tim Bringer, eyeing up this Crankworx Cairns course and applying the strategy that gave him the win in New Zealand. Finding those step downs to double flip, finding those least likely places to add the variations, and it's all paid off. Love to see that big 360 tabletop. Tim Bringer, gold medal. Wow, Clint almost took a Hulk fist to the dome.
That's right, Tyler Knox. He absolutely makes fire with stones and paints caves. What a beast.
Yep. Well, let's take a look back at the run that did it. I gotta tell you, you can't smell this at home, but it smells insane right now. The amount of different liquids that are being sprayed at Tim Bringer. Some caffeinated, some with smashed up grapes.
So what did it? This was it, right from the very beginning. Double backflip, Tuck-No-Hander over the on-off box. Straight into quadruple combos, backflip, double tail whip to bar spin, backflip, Tuck-No-Hander off the flat drop. Keeping the momentum going, not setting up for anything. Combos left, combos right, double backflip on maybe the most dangerous jump on the course. Keeping his momentum to get that cash roll X up and land completely solid, just like he did in Rotorua.
All right, Bree, let's catch up with a jubilant Tim Bringer.
Tim, back-to-back gold medals. How special is this one to you?
Well, it's crazy. I didn't think I would win at the end. I saw David's run. I was like, fuck, I have to go again and send big moves again. But it's feeling good, feeling good.
We were watching you in the start gate. What was going through your mind when you were watching Godziek?
I mean, I know how good he is, so it was fucking hard. But yeah, I'm stoked, yeah.
The Triple Crown is now up for grabs. How badly do you want that Triple Crown?
I mean, let's see in the ride, and I will have to send it even more than this, so let's go.
Anything you want to say to the fans here?
Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Tim, congratulations, you're our 2025 gold medalist.
Sign this guy, sign this guy. Wow, huge congratulations to Francis Tim Bringer, grabbing his second gold medal of the season. He's the guy to beat, and that is definitive. If anybody else was wondering, he just proved it right there. And Godziek looking to give him a run for his money. Would have been really interesting to see what the score would have been, considering they're so tight there.
Yeah, it wasn't a guarantee that Godziek pulling off that second run would have bumped Tim Bringer down to second, but such strong riding out of all of these riders out here today. Riders breaking in, staking their claim. Chance Moore getting a podium here today.
Well, we got another poll for you. Now that the dust has settled, obviously there's still a lot to digest. What do you think about the scores? Do you feel like they're pretty all right? Comment 1. Say it mostly made sense. Comment 2. And if you're shouting at your TV screen and you feel like the judges got it wrong, comment number 3.
I'm shouting for sure, but just out of Stoke. That was an insane event.
If you're just psyched to be here, comment, I can't wait for Whistler, because the stage is set for an insane show. Well, plenty to digest in our post-show as soon as we come back from this break. Don't go away. We'll see you in a minute.
We all have our idea of what we want the sport to look like. Still have that childhood feeling every time I drop in.
We are ready down here.
Anytime?
It's go time, man. It's gonna be insane.
The best feeling ever.
I'm ready to go.
Anytime. Now available on Red Bull TV.
They call him the Iron Giant.
There's nothing like it in the world.
Thousands of hard enduro riders travel to Erzberg to take him on.
The goal, the same as always, finish the race.
But only a handful will make it.
That was mega!
To the finish.
It's never easy to win.
Red Bull Erzberg Rodeo.
Crazy!
Live on Red Bull TV.
Well, at the beginning of the day, we were giddy with excitement to see just the face-offs, both in the women's and the men's category. Alma Wiggberg was going to be on the same course as Patricia Druen. Tim Bringer, after his first win, was going to be on the same course as Emil Johansson and David Godziek, with the opportunity to erase that asterisk that was present after his first win in New Zealand when those two riders weren't on course. Obviously, best wishes are being sent out to all the riders who went down out there today. One thing is for sure, everybody went top to bottom swinging, nobody phoning it in out there today. And you got to give credit to this Cairns crowd for pushing these riders to their limits, right?
Yeah, we had so many storylines, the kind of the newer riders that were there to stake their claim. We had the guys coming back, we had the guys defending, and I feel like somehow every single storyline unfolded to its maximum.
Alma Wiggberg and Tim Bringer, the big winners inside the course tape today, but also we've got a big winner for you, the viewers out there who participated in our Darko giveaway to win that Tom Eistedt signature gear set, which is in this bag right here. We're gonna mail this to somebody, drum roll please. We're gonna mail it to Toby Stefan 1. Congratulations on winning this Darko signature Tom Eistedt gear kit. We're gonna get this on its way to you. Look in your inbox for a message. Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to thank you for tuning in, for stop number 2 of the 2025 Crankworks Slopestyle World Champion Series. Thank you to the riders for putting on such a great show. Thank you to the fans out here for pushing these riders to the limits. And we hope you will join us later today for dual slalom. We'll see you then.